What is going on, guys? We are here with, I guess, Matt Hampton, who's also a coach in Adelaide, and he has successfully made a pro last year. And we got obviously Little Miss Beans, the regular.
Hey guys.
So tell us about, was that your first client you've made go pro?
Yeah, honestly, I don't take a lot of bodybuilding clients.
Yeah,
It's quite stressful with the coach. It's a lot of work, it takes a lot out of you. But yeah, Big Wolf has been one that's been around for a while now. It's really good to finally get her to what she deserves and get that pro card for her. Because it's been a long time coming, and she's really put the effort, put in the work, and she has that. She has the genetics that enabled her to actually get that card in the end, which is great.
yeah. She's been gunning for a few years now.
Oh yeah, yeah, she's been going hard for ages.
But that every time she just gets, every time I've seen her compete, like she just gets better and better, and she's fine tuning, and she's just kept missing the spot, missing the spot, missing the spot, and it's like she's knocking on the door, and then finally, you know,
Yeah,
it's all paid off, which is
it was
absolutely
close for a while.
fantastic.
It was
Yeah,
definitely close for a while, but I think this year the legs just were up just enough where they just got big enough. The legs finally got big enough, and it just finally all clicked together. And again, we like you can look amazing, but someone else can turn up better than you on the day, or someone else we don't know is competing can beat you on the stage. So it comes down to again having the physique, having the right show, get them together, and then you can win.
That's why multiple shows matter. You can't just call your season at one show. Yeah,
Absolutely. If you're a bodybuilder, I guess you have to do multiple shows.
yeah, 100%. 100%. You know, we're back when you were saying how you don't do like a lot of bodybuilding clients. Like everyone always says to me, like, oh, because I'm like, don't forget our coach. Yeah, but oh, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. They think just because you're someone that's all you coach.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah,
it's
that's
not
strange,
it's,
isn't it?
it's not how it works. I'm like whatever you do, like people don't go up to you just because they want to be what you do. Like you said, you just made someone to go pro. You don't even bodybuild.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
the thing is, even with the bodybuilding clients, I do get like yourself, like I get people approaching me that want to do bodybuilding, but I don't. I know that bodybuilding is not for them. So me taking them as a bodybuilding client is almost a disservice to them in the long run. When it's not like I'm not setting them up for disappointment at all, but I want to be honest with them from the start and be like, look, you know, I appreciate your goal. We can go on stage, we can compete, we can give it a few years, give it a crack. But in all honesty, you don't have what it takes to be a pro bodybuilder, and that's the sad truth.
it's funny that you say that because I think a lot of coaches these days just take people on for work and they're not actually upfront with them. Like a lot, how many people want to do classic these days because Chris Bum said, but there's so many people that just aren't built for it.
No, no, classic. It's a specific division. Same as bodybuilding. Like, not everyone can be a bodybuilder. Not everyone can be a classic physique competitor. Just because they're smaller or more easily maintainable, quote
Yeah,
unquote, it doesn't mean you can get there.
yeah. It's like it's so genetically you have to be genetically blessed. And like what I don't understand is these classic guys I think, oh, I'm not big enough to be classic or whatever. Like they haven't seen what's out there. If any pro classic comes here and trains at the gym, they'll look like an open bodybuilder here.
100%. Yeah, they look like bodybuilders. You're fully correct on that. They are bodybuilders. They just happen to have the physique. They're trying to grow as big as possible most of the time. Most of them. And that's happened to that physique. They're growing as big as possible. Just put them in classics rather
Yeah,
than open.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy.
A lot of people want to do things that they're not built for. Especially, I think girls are a lot like that as well.
But who's the guy that came second at Olympia this year, last year? Uh,
In
blanking
what
his name.
what
In classic,
category?
yeah,
classic to Bumstead.
Oh, Mike Summerfield.
Summerfield. Yeah,
Have you seen him recently? He looks like an open bodybuilder.
Yeah,
yeah,
Like
he
he
does.
looks huge.
Yeah,
he
It's
does.
like dude's classic. Dude's a classic. He would probably be the classic champion, and
Yeah,
he's like an open bodybuilder.
yeah. He
yeah,
just maybe a
Insane.
little bit bigger arms, but yeah, because these days open bodybuilders they're aesthetic as well. Like look at
Yep.
Samson. They're not big blowout waists anymore.
No, no. It's I like it. I like it a lot. I like the freaks, but yes, you need the lions. And the sport's growing. As the sport grows, it's revealing these freaky athletes and revealing these people who have those genetics to become great.
Have you had anyone come up to you and you're like, man, this like they're gonna be a genetic freak in Adelaide?
Uh, I don't know, man. Like I see a few people that I'm like, okay, this guy's got potential. This guy's got potential, but it's really hard to see because you don't see it until you can see them train for about a year or two,
Yeah.
or especially a year or two enhanced, then you know. Like
Mm.
from a standpoint, okay, that guy looks good, but how do you know how he's going to respond to drugs?
Yeah.
How do you know he's going to respond to training? How much can that stretch out to the extent of a pro bodybuilder, right?
Yeah.
So it's tough to call. It's like we have more of an eye, so we can have a better idea. Most people out there, they've got no idea. They'll look at me and be like, "Oh, you're a pro bodybuilder." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Bro, I've got nowhere near the shape of a pro
Yeah.
bodybuilder." It's a completely different beast to have that look, which the pros want or the pros
It is.
need.
They'd really get their eyes open if they went to America. It's like, someone was even up to me today at the gym, and I'm like, yeah, they're like, oh, you're a big bodybuilder. I'm like, yeah, I need to get bigger. I'm just too small. I need to work. He's like, get bigger. And they're so baffled by me wanting to get bigger. I'm like, man, I'm tiny. I'm like scraping through as an open bodybuilder. I'm like too heavy for every other division, but I'm a shit small open bodybuilder.
That's
I
it,
think
right? Yeah,
I think a lot of people rush it too, though. Like they don't give it enough time. They think, oh, I need to be big. I need to be big. I'm just going to step on stage. But y- I think most of them are just underestimating the amount of time that goes into it as well. Like
It's a 10-year
absolutely.
game. 10
it's
years.
so long.
That's
And
what I always say to people. I always say, if you're going to start steroids, don't think of it as like an 8-week course or a 12-week or a 16-week course. If you're going to start steroids and you want that physique, that enhanced physique, you're looking at 3 to 5 years as the minimum.
Yeah.
That's sort of what you're looking at starting steroids. Then, if you have the potential, you have to go further than that.
Yeah.
But if you don't, that sort of gives you an idea.
No, bro. One cycle, I'm blown up. And they don't eat or do anything. They have no foundation, but they take the enhancements.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
If people just think you can take whatever, take the drugs and you just grow, it just doesn't work.
But especially people starting out, it's like they don't need much to start. They need time. They need time with a small amount. And as they get bigger, like as they get to your stage, that's when you actually do need more drugs.
Yeah.
But most of these guys, they're just overshooting the amount of drugs and undershooting the amount of time, and that's leaving them to either get way less results, more side effects, and just not even reveal their potential at the end because they end up getting sick of it or I don't know, just not making it because they're just pushing too hard, too fast, and haven't given it the time, right?
If you can't get to like young guys, not me because I'm older, but if young guys can't get to my size in 5 years on just test only, maybe a little bit of something extra, if they start already taking D-Bowl, Tren, Anadrols, whatever, just to get to my size of like 20, you're not going to be a bodybuilder. Because if
Not
they're,
a good one.
yeah, not a good one. It's just way too much. Good guys blow up on test only.
They do.
Yeah.
And that's what the sad part about it. Like, I mean, you hear these guys that are sharing their cycles online and stuff, and then you hear the pros share their cycles, and it's the pros share their cycles, and it'll be a very small amount. But everyone's like, "No, they're lying, they're lying, they're lying." It's like, no, they're just freaks.
Yeah.
They ain't lying. They're just freaks.
And their stuff's probably better concentrated than stuff here. I reckon stuff here is a little bit weaker.
Also, a lot of the time, these pros aren't actually changing that much year to year.
Yeah.
Like they've reached their potential pretty much. They're just fine tuning things, getting a little leaner each year, getting a bit of like peaking a little better. They aren't really putting on pounds and pounds of muscle tissue each year.
no,
That's
they've done
right. You're hearing their maintenance cycles, not their growth cycles as well.
yeah, they've done the groundwork.
I find now, like I've jumped back on. Well, I just doubled my cruise. I'm going to double my cruise dose while I'm healing from my tricep tomorrow, and already I'm getting progression. And I'm like, fuck, I don't even need a gram a year. I'm on like 800 meg, and I'm fucking still getting too strong for my joints. I'm like, all right, maybe I'm going to start way lower this time now. It must be like because I've done those higher cycles. I've got so many receptors now. I just put that little bit in, and because I know how to train, just boom, it just hits me straight away.
Yeah, I find you're probably the same, Andrew and Sabrina. That as I've got older and as I've changed my cycle approach over the years, yeah, I can get gains with less. My gains may not be as big, but they're big in comparison to my size now. But
Yeah.
I find it's a smarter cycle. I'm utilizing, I guess, a larger array of drugs rather than just pounding on one drug. I'm using growth hormone, I'm using insulin, I'm using a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I can get away with a lot less drugs, still get the result I want, and feel a lot better, feel a lot healthier, and not rush it.
Yeah. And you know how to train, like you know how to pinpoint your muscle now. Because before we were probably overdoing the drugs a bit to compensate for a bit shittier training. Now, 5 more years, we're engaging. Our mind muscle connection is so much better. Like we can connect, so we need less drug because our training stimulus is so much higher.
Mhm.
It's a tough one, that one, isn't it? Because I'm not a big mind muscle connection guy, but I'm a big execution guy. And I
Mm,
think if you're executing the movements correctly, you'll be engaging the muscles correctly.
yeah.
But there's a thing: the more you train, the more you execute these movements, the better you get at them, the better you get at targeting those
Mm,
muscle groups, and the more stimulus you're able to apply per set per workout. And I find often the case is the stronger I get in a course or whatever, the less, I guess, weights or less volume I need, right? Because
mm,
I'm just good at it, good at lifting weights. I can
yeah.
provide a good stimulus from less weights, which is weird.
Yeah. Higher intensity, lower volume. It always works.
Mm.
Yeah. 'Cause when it's like beginners, they always do these things like the studies, the high volume works. I'm like, yeah, well, when you just pick up a weight, your recovery is so good. You can do fucking 20 sets on legs every second day. If one of us went and did 20 set on legs, we'd be done for like a month. That'd be
All
fucking
right.
burnt.
It's funny because sometimes like my clients want to train with me, or like someone they're at a lower musculature want to train with me, and I'd be like, I can't do your workout. Like I
Mm,
will be destroyed with your workout because I'm lifting so much greater weights. I'm so much better at training you. If I was to do your 20 set leg workout, I'll be written off for the week. But you, as a less experienced small individual, are fine,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, because think about like if you're doing a squats and they're saying squatting 60 kilos, their warm-up's like a 10 on each side, then they go straight into working. We've got to do like one half or the bar, half plate, one and a half, two. Yeah, we're like six warm-up sets, and then we do our two working sets, or even one working set sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and they're like they do one warm-up, but then four, five working sets. So theirs is the other way around than us. We do as much warm-up sets as they do working sets.
Yeah, but they're
Even
also
with
gradually building up to that way each set.
Yeah, but I'm saying because they're so weak, well, because they're so like unexperienced trained, there isn't barely any warm up because it's so low injury risk.
yeah, the total load is
Yeah,
much less. Well,
yeah,
that's things like us. And the more experience of the bodybuilder we get, I find myself often programming exercises where I'm using less weight because if I
mm,
go and do squats first or leg press first, I'm gonna have to lift too much weight. It's gonna destroy me. That's why I like to
yeah,
go in and do leg curls or leg extensions just so like the workout can be less taxing on me, so I can get enough stimulus in without destroying myself
yeah.
from the squats, right?
I know, like what I've started doing now is because I used to, I got up to like 10 plates a side in the Cybex hack. So now I always start the workout with leg curls first.
Yep.
Then I do my single leg press, and then I do my hacks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm
and
similar.
now it's like 3 plates a side, and I'm like struggling to get 6 to 8.
I'm similar. Yeah, it's about providing a stimulus, and it doesn't really matter how that stimulus occurs. Obviously, the more weight, the more stimulus you want to get, but you can rearrange workouts in a way where you can still get that appropriate stimulus where you're not necessarily having to load up 10 plates on the side backs. You're doing your hams first, you're doing something else first. So you're still getting a decent amount of volume, but you're not destroying yourself and your body in one exercise at the start.
And that's when I guess, like I get heaps of clients and like you'd get it the same way. Oh, well, how come you're training your programs like that, but then you've got me doing this first in the session, and they all get confused and they try to copy our workouts. And like, there's a reason why your workouts like it is, but they think same as like when everyone copies pros. And I'm like, it's completely different from where you're at. The workouts are what they are, but they think you're giving them something less superior because it's not what you're doing.
Yeah, it's that like that's what's about, right? As a coach, we were programming for the client, what we deem is appropriate for them, and that's where the whole like Instagram Reels and TikTok thing has sort of skewed this whole industry because everyone's following these workouts online, which may or may not be appropriate for them at all. I mean, a lot of the time it's fine, but a lot of the time it's just unnecessarily too much, unnecessarily too little, especially with the whole like optimal training these days. I get it, like you and I and Sabrina, we might be doing single arm, iliac rows or something for our laps, which is a great exercise, don't get me wrong. But for someone just starting at the gym, just go in there, hit some barbell rows, hit some
Yeah,
lat pull downs, some chin ups, some squats, whatever, and you're probably going to get all the growth you want to need,
yeah,
right?
100%.
They gotta keep, yeah, they just don't keep it simple. They overcomplicate everything from what they've seen. It's like, no, you don't need to be doing that sort of stuff. Just get in there, keep it simple, and focus on the execution and the muscle mind connection more than anything, more than any exercise. It
Mm,
does not matter.
Yeah,
yeah,
I train with a guy from Derrimut today, one of the staff, because he's like, I need some help, getting motivated and stuff. I'm like, come have a session with me, learn something. And he's asked me about, those exercises he sees people do, like you just said, the one arm pull downs. And I'm like, the only reason us big people do stuff like that is because it's our physique. Like my clavicles narrow compared to my lats, so my arms naturally sit out. So I have to dip in to get that straight lat. I said, but if I could do a double arm to save time, I'd fucking do a double arm. I said, yeah, like I said, the people don't understand. I said, we do exercise because we have to. Like, otherwise, I'm just not going to hit it properly. But I'm like, that's 4 sets. Like, if I do 2 sets now, that's equivalent to 4 sets. So I do this arm, wait till I'm recovered, do that arm. I said, why would you do that if you don't have to? When you can
Yeah.
just do two sets of pull downs.
Do you think we want to mess around with this? We
Yeah.
don't. We'd rather go do those chin-ups. Like, it's
Yeah.
annoying.
No.
That's one exercise I'm sick of seeing is that single arm pull down because so many people that have no business doing it do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Another thing I was saying was to him was the thing is with even exercise like that, you have to have some kind of level to do isolation exercise because if you have no muscle to connect with, what are you connecting with? You have some kind of you have to stick with all the basics first, and then when you start getting some muscle up, you can actually connect with it properly. But if you got no
Yeah,
back, what are you doing? Well, where there's no lat there.
Just a
it's just
bicep.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary.
What's
More than anything,
what's
unnecessary. They
your
can do it,
most
but it's unnecessary.
what's the thing you see most as a coach that you need to correct?
Is in like training with training stuff.
Just anything like the most common thing that people come to you asking like this question gets asked a million times like so everyone knows that stop asking
Uh,
me that question.
I mean, most of my questions, I'm probably similar to you guys. Most of my questions are around drugs. I
Yeah.
get a lot of questions around PEDs, and you're just like, oh, can I take this and this, or can I take that and that? And most of the time, the person asking the question is someone who should just be on testosterone, focusing on their training, focusing on their nutrition, and they're wondering about this new anabolic or this new SARM. I get a lot of
Yeah.
SARM questions. Still to this day, I get a lot of SARM questions, like crazy amount of SARM questions from teenage guys. And for the most part, it's just like stop. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Just go and train. Do the hard things. Go and train. Do the nutrition. I think that's nutrition is the part where most
Yeah.
people just don't get right. They just seem to struggle with it. They just can't seem to eat either properly or enough. Or I think to me, my big thing is consistently enough. They don't want to eat the same things and the same foods each day. When that's the key to reducing your variables, so you can have a progressively measurable results in physique at the end of the day. Because you less variables there are, the more you can control. And it's so random each day. You end up with this person who's like their weight's fluctuating heaps because their salt intake, carb intake's fluctuating heaps, and it's harder to manage, harder to gauge their intakes and their progression and stuff. It's just like just eat this pretty much. You're doing bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is monotonous. Just eat the same shit, do the training, which is the same thing most of the time. Do the sleep and take your basic drugs. Don't make it overcomplicated. Give it time.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta live like a dog, eat the same thing every day.
Every day.
100%. I mean, if you want the best results, yes. You don't need to, but yes.
Yeah. And that's
It's
why I
less room
tell
for error. That's all it is. There's less
yeah.
room for error. If you're executing everything day after day after day, you know your body's going to consistently run like clockwork. Like
Absolutely.
we spent
Like,
our 3 weeks in Melbourne, and we got a lot of. We had like obviously we had vouchers and stuff that I won with my pro card, so we were getting a lot of meal prep company meals, and it's like. Yeah, it's similar, but it's not the same. So my body's not responding to the same as it would with like 150 grams of chicken that they were supplying me to the 150 grams that I was eating at home. Because you don't know what's in it because they've cooked it. But two, it's not consistent with what I've been eating at home the 9 other months of the year.
yes,
It's huge.
absolutely.
It's huge.
I agree. And that's especially challenging for you guys, especially Sabrina with you, the pro card and traveling and getting that overseas. Is you eat
Yeah.
this food, then you got to go deal with the extra food overseas. And you just need to make it like you probably went over there and you went out to shops. You made it as consistent as possible leading up to that show. I bet you didn't bear off and get anything else. You just went and bought the same shit, made it as consistent as possible, and then that's how you were successful, right?
That's how you do it. That's how you got to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's the same thing. With the same thing with the meal prep meals. You're changing meal prep meal, like doing 1 day meal prep meal, 1 day home cooked meal. Yes, they're both good foods. They're both good options. Both good for the general public. But
Yes,
it
yes.
just doesn't work for
It
bodybuilders.
doesn't work. No.
guess what? In Romania, even just like going from barbecue grilled chicken to oven baked chicken, there's more moisture retention. So the grams, it's going to be a little bit variance there. But like we had weird rice cakes, but yeah, it's just not the same. You eat it, the herbs are different. It's just the digestion is not the same.
Which
And
is fine for everydayers, but if you're in like a proper contest prep and you're very serious about lifting and everything that surrounds it, everything has to be calculated, from training, like eating the chicken from the barbie to having chicken out the oven. Like it's a considerable difference if you're training, for a prep.
When you're
It's
fine-tuned, you notice the most subtle difference. So I bet, Matt, when you're in Japan, you had a couple of meals off plan. How much different did you feel when you woke up the next day?
Oh, it's crazy. It's great. I find traveling. The thing is, I mean, because I'm not a competitive bodybuilder, it's much easier. It's
Yeah.
much easier. So I can go to Japan and do what I want to do, or go traveling and do what I want to do. But I find it almost impossible to maintain my physique,
Yeah.
like when I'm traveling. Almost impossible. Just because of the variation, the variety which I'm exposed to and what I'm dealing with in terms of the food choices and the obviously the exercise, environment stuff. I find it very challenging. That being said, I maintain a great physique. Don't be wrong.
Yeah.
But those variables each time, we can feel them. We eat a food, we feel the difference. And
mm,
it's weird to say that because you wake up and you're like, oh yeah, I'm lean today, I'm bloated today. And it's just like, oh yeah, well, no shit. Like, we sort of know at the end of the day
Yeah.
whether we're going to be good or not.
See,
so do you have a coach yourself, Matt, or do you kind of just do your own sort of thing?
Yeah, well, at this stage, no, because I've been not having any competitive goals, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's not cool. It's I've been recovering from the bicep tear injury, the hernia surgery, so there's been a few things going through where I haven't had a coach in probably a couple of years at least. Yeah, so which
It's
is cool.
working.
It's all good. I just don't need one at the moment because my goals aren't serious enough to require one. But I would, if I was to compete, I would.
So, and without having a coach, you obviously amend all your macro, well, not your macros, but all your meals accordingly. You're probably, if you're looking at just maintaining, you're probably just eating the same meals every day, every time of day as well, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, with me, it's you could say off season or whatever, but it's still similar to you guys. It's wake up the same time every single day. Doesn't matter if it's Saturday or Sunday. It's wake up the same time every single day. Go for my walk every single day. Doesn't matter what day it is. To wake up same time. Go for my walk same time. Come home have the same breakfast. Let the breakfast digest. Day is go to the gym. Same lunch, same time. Same dinner, same time. It's the same everything. There are a few variations in there in terms of I might change the source of protein, like the meat source at dinner.
yeah,
I might
Yeah.
change. I might rotate a few vegetables or something. But even me as a non-competitive athlete, someone who just maintains a body image to a standard I like and wants to perform well, it's still very to the schedule. But that makes me feel good. That makes me
yeah,
feel energized and perform good. And if I didn't do that, I think the how hard it is to maintain this structure is not hard at all, and the reward is so high. Right. So for me to do the same thing every day, it takes all the thought out of it. I
yeah.
wake up, I know what I'm doing, I know I'm eating it. There's zero thought, and it's going to make me feel good. And as soon as I start thinking about things, it's one, you got to think about it. Two, you got to cook different stuff, and three, you're going to feel worse initially.
Do you track
So
your fluids as well?
fluids, do I
Yeah,
track it?
yeah,
I don't track it, but I consistently
yeah.
have my bottle on me all the time. So I staying hydrated is a big thing for me,
Yeah,
of
like you were
everyone.
saying with the consistency of that, it's quality of life. Like people don't understand, once you got a routine, if you feel good every day, you just love life.
Mhm.
You do,
Yeah,
yeah, you're right.
it's just the best.
There's no room
Um,
for error. That's what I see.
Yeah, it's funny because like times like Christmas, I as weird as it sounds, I actually don't like eating out. I like experiencing different foods and different things. I like the experience of Alex, my fiance and I would go to eat out or something. We often would share something just so we can try it and experience it.
yeah,
We would often still eat our normal food around that. Like we won't go out and just eat all this food out and then be like, oh, that was a fun night. We sort of go there, enjoy our company, experience the food together, talk about it,
yeah,
discuss it, have a good night, probably have our own food when we get home, and then
yeah,
the next day we go for it. We don't center our life around food because as soon as you start fixating on food, you forget about everything else. You forget about the company, your life, everything else in your life. It's just so diet. People, and you guys get this a lot more because you're comp prepping all the time. As soon
yeah,
as your mind gets stuck on food, it messes with you.
yeah.
It really messes with you. It's not healthy.
It's
No.
horrible. You become so food focused, it's like all you care about.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is crazy, isn't it? But it's unavoidable in your
yeah.
extremes.
But that's one thing as I don't mind getting a little bit fluffier in the off season because I just want to get to a point where I'm not food focused.
Yeah,
Then I
yeah.
start enjoying life again. Otherwise, I get like hangry. I'm like a bit more aggressive when I'm food focused.
Well, this is the advantage to us bigger guys. I'm sorry, Sabina, you have to deal with what is a little bit harder than us. But us bigger guys, we can handle a lot more food. We can get a little bit fluffier with less stress in our
Yeah,
bodies. Whereas someone like yourself, Sabina, like that's a real challenge. Is you have to stay on your obviously you're a lot of muscle mass, so you're better off than the bikini girls, but
Yeah,
you've got to stay in a tighter shape because you don't have all this room to
I don't have.
go, right?
Yeah. No, because if I blow out, it's twice as hard to get rid of it in prep.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
super,
Yes,
super hard for us to
I
lose.
could start. I can get Lee Priest fat, and 6 weeks in the, I can drop like 12 kilos the first 6 weeks of a diet, and just goes like that. It just fucking drops off. The water retention drops, the fat just starts. When you got this much muscle mass, you're rated. You can lose 3 kilos a week and be fine.
Yeah, definitely. This is with me. Like, I don't diet for longer than maybe 3 weeks max.
Mm.
2 weeks is my dieting time. Again, I'm not getting as lean as you guys. I'm not getting the contest prep shape, but I'm getting lean enough where no one can tell the difference in the gym compared to my leanness to your leanness.
Yeah,
I know I'm nowhere near as lean as you guys.
yeah,
I'm well aware of that. But no one else is. It takes
yeah.
me 2 weeks rather than 12 or 16 or 20.
Lean enough for people to start saying you're competing soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the famous question. You getting ready for a show? You're like, oh, fuck. Or when you get ready for a show and they're always like, oh, you're shredded already. You're like, man, I'm like 10 weeks out. I'm so fat still.
Okay.
Yeah, we're messed up though. We're messed up.
Yeah, we are
Bodybuilding.
all messed up. Yeah, we do the same thing. Like we'll go out and we'll share some stuff because obviously we're in Japan. Like I'm not going to not try foods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we go halves and a lot of stuff, and we'll be like, well, we'll drop it down to 4 meals so we can get away with a bit more calories per meal because we know that, and we'll be like, we eat 3 clean meals from like the 7-Eleven. We get chicken breast, all tracked, and then that one meal every day can be a bit not tracked because we're going to a restaurant or something.
yeah. Especially when it comes to, not sure you guys, but especially when it comes to like desserts and sweets. I'm not a huge sweet guy, but like I'm going to go out there and buy, a serving of a 3 serving of fluffy pancakes for myself and a 3 serving of fluffy pancakes for Alex. But we'll just share the 1 serving of fluffy pancakes. It's fine. Like we don't need 3 massive fluffy pancakes each.
Yeah,
We ate 3 pancakes
yeah.
each. Yes.
I'll eat the pan, but I'm not a big sweet tooth. But I'll have a big meal if I'm eating a meal. I'll eat big.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I guess to be fair, you guys were probably finding it harder, or not harder to manage, but rewarding yourself maybe because
Yeah.
how lean
We
you
were
were.
post show, so the hunger was at its highest, and we were doing like 30K steps a day. So
Yeah.
I was just trying to keep a weight gain of like I didn't want to put on more than 10 kilos on stage weight before I left Japan. So I was like, I left Japan at like 108.5, and I was on stage at 102.
Yeah, that's really good because someone like yourself, you got to have 5 kilos of this
Yeah,
glycogen and water, and then, or even more maybe, it depends on how depleted you were for the show. Like, yeah. And then, a couple of kilos of body fat, and then you're pretty good, right? 10 kilos or more is you push from that.
and then the training over there was getting good pumps because I was just trying to keep. I'm like 5,000 is the max. If I hit 5,000 a day, I never. That's it. No more food. I'd never let myself go 5,000 calories. But I love the red bean steam buns. Now 3 of them pre-workout pumps.
Oh, really? See, I'm not a huge fan of them. I thought they were all right, but I wasn't a huge
I
fan.
love the red bean steam. I love the pastiness because to me
Yeah. You
like, it
like
tastes
those?
like date paste, like dates.
Yeah, you're right.
See, I like the
Yeah.
pork ones better, the meat ones,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
surprising because I've got the sweet tooth out of
Mm.
both of us. So
All right.
Well, if they had a custard one, I would have smashed the custard one. But I didn't
yeah,
find any custard steam buns.
Did you have the custard fish
Oh
thing?
yeah, I love them.
yeah,
That's my favorite. So there was one gym we went
that
to.
was dangerous.
Yeah, we went to Hero Gym, and up the road was the best one we found, and it was the cheapest one. And we used to get one post workout every day.
Wasn't
Yeah,
every
that's nice.
day.
I'd put it down as like about 50 carb, 10 fat.
Yeah, that's safe. That's safe.
I always, yes, obviously, every time I go out, I always over exaggerate the calories.
You need to. You need to. I find people that obviously a lot of my clients are just general population, and they eat out quite a lot. And sometimes I see that the clients that are tracking, I see their entries for the food they've eaten out, and often I get them to take photos of it, and they have no idea of how many calories they are eating when they eat out. Uh, a lot of the time, you're eating at a restaurant, you're getting a meal and a dessert, and even a drink, whatever the case may be. You'd be hard pressed to go under 1,500 calories for
Oh,
a meal at a restaurant. It's longer than like 600. I'm like, you're not even close. You're
yeah.
not even close.
I know, like if you go to any burger chain, I just put down like a Macca's like quarter pounder or something.
Yeah,
Like that's pretty. And then like if I have a fries, I'm like, yeah, that's a Macca's large fries. I always just use the Macca's macros.
that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
That's a good way of doing it.
It's just find it easy. I'm like, it's going to be pretty close. It's probably a little bit higher fat with the Maccas, maybe. It might even be higher fat with the burger chain, depending on what oils they use and stuff.
Yeah, but then again, how accurate is the Macca's entries, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
agree.
exactly. I was just about to say that. How accurate.
Well, all
Yeah,
their nutrition stuff is on their websites. And
Yeah, but
that stuff will be pretty to the T because they regulate that so much because profit cost margins. They'll be like, if they can shave anything, they'll be like, everything has to be made to the gram because we need to save money.
yeah, true.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
It's funny you
Um,
say that about it's funny you say that about the photos because I ran into a friend of mine. Well, yeah, like an old friend of mine. I'm not going to name him. I'll be kind. And he's actually one of your clients, Matt.
all right, yeah,
I've known him for quite some
I know
time.
who this is.
You know who it is?
Yeah,
And I've known him for quite some time, and I've run into him every now and then. And anyway, so I saw him today for the first time probably since I went pro. And anyway, I'm like, how's Matt going? And yeah. He's like, Matt's amazing. He's great. He's like, he got me to take photos of my food. I'm like, well, yeah, which is what you just,
yeah, yeah. He is
he
great.
needs to know. And he's like, oh, I really wasn't aware of what I was eating. He's like, I had no idea. And he goes, and it's taken me, he goes, a good 6 months to finally. He's like, now I've got it. Now I'm nailing it week after week. He's like, but it's taken me 6 months. I'm like, it's taken you 6 months. That's great because you're not going to be able to change that sort of habit overnight or in 1 week. And he goes,
No,
yeah, I've failed so many times. He's like, I don't know how many times I've failed, but I get back up and I try again the next week. But he's like,
yeah,
yeah, pictures of my food. I'm like, well, if it worked, it worked. So that's fair enough.
no. He's an awesome guy. He's very committed. He wants to change. He really wants to do it.
He does.
And
Yes.
it's gotten a lot better. And honestly, the photos has definitely helped him, and definitely he sent me some photos, some things like recently. I'm like, oh, okay, like you're meant to be dieting, but let's see how you can fit this. Let's see how you work with this. But you
Mm-hmm.
know, each to their own. Again, general population. So I'm not as harsh as someone who's competing. So I want them to enjoy their lifestyle, enjoy the process, make sure they can be a lifelong journey where they keep these habits and become better over time. So it's right. It's about spreading awareness, educating yourself, and if you can learn that in 6 months, that's a massive win because that can take years to learn.
Well, it's taken you years to get into these bad habits. It's not
Yeah,
gonna, it's not going to take overnight to get rid of all these bad habits. You're going to have to reset and fail week after week. And he's literally said today, he's like, I think I finally got it. And I'm like, that's killer. I'm like, you're in the
yeah,
best.
A lot of clients, you can just be like, first thing you do is just swap sugar drinks for 0 calorie, and already they start losing weight.
yeah. It's like some clients are a lot easier than others.
Mm.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not about losing weight. It's about eating healthier and just knowing, some people want to maintain what they've got or just tidy up what they've got. It's not about losing the weight, I don't think.
Yeah,
Or
because,
if
oh, you go.
I was say if you can have the correct conversation with the client and be really upfront with them and tell them about the long journey and really make them understand you. Often the times you can just change their approach to food in terms of that getting higher protein in their diet, focusing on the quality foods, like SAB, they end up eating more food. A lot
Yeah,
of times, eating more food, but less calories, but more food. And over the course of 6 months to a year, they change and they get the body they want without having to diet really. And
Correct.
that's the key. If you can convince clients to go through that, like let's increase your protein, let's increase your water, let's take out maybe this full sugar drinks. Cool. Just do that. Increase your vegetable intake. So just increase this, increase this. Don't really reduce anything. You're just increasing the veggies, increasing the protein, and they'll probably be on their way. But it's a slow process, and they really have to accept that and commit to it and change over time, and they will get the results.
Yeah, they will. Yeah,
because with them it's
absolutely.
more about you don't really want to, like you said, they don't want to be feel like they're dying. It's more about sustainability because
Yeah,
they don't want to go through phases like us where we're mad hungry, then pushing weight, mad hungry, pushing weight. The normal person wants to look good constantly.
Hmm.
yes,
But like you said, where I'll put someone on a diet and they'll be like, I can't eat all this food.
yeah.
I'm gonna gain weight on this. I'm like, no, it's less calories. It just fills more food.
But
It's the
do you ever have
volume.
it where you're right, someone in a diet who's actually a competitive bodybuilder or someone who's experienced, and you write them a diet and think, oh, it's so much food. Then 2 weeks later, I'm so hungry.
Yeah. So, yeah. Because you know why? Because they're finally digesting. Their digestive system works. They've actually got vegetables in their diet, fruits, and they're like, oh, I'm regular now and the taller. I'm little this. I'm like, yeah, because your body's actually working out. Because a lot of the time, most clients, especially women, under eating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They could be
or
eating
they're
more.
under eating or they're sporadically eating high and lows to the extreme, which leads to them often feeling like rubbish, not making any progress, and not having any sort of consistency or relationship with food, which is positive.
100%.
That's
Did you get any questions from any clients or anything?
Did I did, I think, but they are on my phone, where I'm not sure whether I want
Oh
to
yeah,
play
you
with
can't.
the
I, I always get people ask me this season A competitors, who do you think will do well? I don't even know who's doing season A yet.
Season A. Oh, in SA.
NSA. I know Cam's doing open bodybuilding now.
Yeah, I know Jeremy's doing classic.
Oh, he's competing this year,
Yeah.
this season. I don't,
Um,
yeah, but I don't know. I don't have anyone doing season A.
oh,
I
wow.
have someone in Melbourne. That's it.
I don't think there's actually going to be a huge lineup, to be honest. Even with season A, I'm not sure how much you know about this, but what's even happening with season A in Adelaide this year? Like, who's the
So
sponsor? Who
We
you going to run it?
we can't say
we've
too
been
much yet.
we've been told a few things.
We can't say too much.
We can't say too
Okay.
much, but
Uh,
the posing classes will be at Derrimut's now.
I saw that. I saw Tony announce that the other day. February, start of February,
Yeah, so
posing.
we'll probably be me and Beans will probably be hosting that.
Yeah,
We
I
don't,
figured that would be you guys.
we don't know yet.
I'd say the show would be in the same spot, but I'm not sure who the announcer is going to be with assisting Tony.
Yeah,
We might just
yeah.
do that.
What was that,
They're
Bob?
going to need
Tony might just do that by himself.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I'll be
it's
here
gonna
3 weeks.
yeah. Well, I wonder how many girls are going to be doing the fit model as well now. And then also, what are your thoughts on the fit model division
Oh, Seymour coming in this season
Yes,
A.
this year?
yes.
There will be a fit model pro this nationals season A.
No, I mean, I probably have a similar opinion to most other people who are in the industry for a long time, who are have built muscle, have clients built muscle, and are body built. Like we are bodybuilders.
Mm.
Mm.
So, from my point of view as a bodybuilder, I don't really like it, even though I know it's spreading. It's spreading. More people can do it, whatever. And it's good for coaching, whatever. But
Inclusive.
I just think it's just a runway model thing now. There's no muscle. Like it just doesn't, it's not bodybuilding. It's just
You're
you're
right.
not anything else.
That's exactly what it is. It's a runway model.
Yeah.
Yep.
The thing is, as well, look, world class bikini athletes like the Olympia level, they're lean. They can be lean and show their muscle because they have just enough to still be petite. But the thing is, at the level here in Australia, all the bikini girls are pretty much fit models anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
I mean, they are. They're pretty much fit models. They're just often not lean enough, which
Yeah,
is that's
exactly.
crazy to say.
Yeah,
They often have enough muscle because if,
yeah.
as you said, you've seen pro bikini girls. They've got muscle. They do,
Mm,
but they are tiny.
mm,
Don't get me wrong. They are tiny. They've got maybe if you're good genetics as a female, 1 to 2 years of good training, you
yeah,
probably have enough muscle to do
mhm,
bikini. If you have the good genetics, you just need to be able to get lean enough with that muscle,
yeah.
which is the challenge. Not many girls can actually get that small, which is it's smaller than what you think to look like that on stage.
Yeah. I think the fit model, you could probably have the same muscle, but just not as lean. It's basically like
Yep,
8 to 6 weeks out bikini girl.
yep, I would
Yeah.
agree. I
That's,
would agree.
it's just lowering the barrier of entry too low for me because, especially to compare to men, because even bikini's easier than men's physique. Men's physique is bloody hard these days. Those guys are huge. So it's like you've got these two low divisions for women. Like, what about they're gonna bring another division for men? And it's gonna be a head case.
I think they will. But the problem with the fit model division is the judging is going to be very, very difficult because if they give a winner of fit model, if they award the winner of fit model as the leaner one on stage, all of a sudden,
Gonna get
it's a
leaner.
little bit leaner, bikini. You've got the fit model bikini, right?
Yeah.
And they're just merged. And
It's
it's
gonna be
really hard to judge
who
that.
has the prettiest face. The judges are gonna be like, oh, I really like blonde girls this year. All right, look, may as well blonde girl to win. Everyone
I mean,
starts wearing blonde wigs.
Because that's what, like they say that you should be symmetrical and lean and have some sort of muscle density. But at the moment in Australia, it's literally the leanest person wins in a
Yeah,
show,
yeah, I agree.
in any category. So
Yep.
now So if you're in bodybuilding or if you're in classic or if you're in physique, if you've got some symmetry and some obviously muscle thickness, um, it will always come down to condition. Who is the leanest? So this new category, they can't
Yeah, it's like
they don't even
it's going
decide.
against everything else.
They
Yeah.
can't even pick the leanest person to win. So what do they go to well, not to the chubbiest one, but to
The thing
No,
is,
eeny,
I
meeny, miny, moe.
yeah,
can't
it,
even.
it's just too attainable because if you go to an NBA game or something, just as an example, or any professional sports, you're there to watch something they're phenomenal at their sport, and it's so hard to get to that level. When you lower the barrier entry too much, it's like our sport just looks unprofessional now because it's
I
like,
agree.
oh, in a year I can be competing with those pros.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Especially when there's all these fit model pros out there and advertising that as a pro. You want to see, like I said, with the sports. I watch NBA because they are freaks. I watch NBA because I can't do that. I'm like, I
Mm.
can't do that. That's amazing. You guys are awesome. And that's what bodybuilding is like. I love open bodybuilding because they're so massive and jacked. And it's just like, that's freaky. That's crazy. And it's just so extreme. And that what draws my attention. And probably, I hope so, what draws everyone else's attention to the sport as well, having how crazy they are.
Who's the biggest guy you've ever met? Who's the biggest open bodybuilder you've ever met?
Oh, the biggest open bodybuilding. This may sound funny because I mean bodybuilding is they're huge, right? The open bodybuilding is huge.
Yeah.
However, myself, I'm not huge. I'm tall. I'm
Yeah.
6'4". So I'm always impressed by the look of their muscles and the size of their arms and the shape more so than the actual size of the bodybuilders.
Yeah.
The size, obviously, they're still very impressive. But I'm bringing this up because I also am interested in strongman, and the strongman compared to a bodybuilder is not even remotely close when it comes to like the hugeness scale.
Yeah.
Like back when the Arnold used to be in Melbourne, which was awesome. Which oh, please bring it back.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bodybuilders there, which you can meet like bodybuilders. Awesome, look, crazy muscle bellies, crazy roundness. I'm so impressed by that. Then you go and see Brian Shaw, who's a strongman, 6'10", 190 kilograms, and it's just like, what is that? that is a different species. Like the bodybuilders almost look like they're not muscle. They look like beginners compared to him.
Yeah.
So that's what impresses me. I think impresses me the most. These open strongman guys who are just absolutely tower over bodybuilders in terms of size and strength and just presence.
Well,
So have
Power.
you
even Shaq next to Sean Creeder make look how small he look. He'd look like tiny.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but yeah, open bodybuilders. I'll probably say, ooh. I mean, I saw a pretty prime Rolly Winkler, and that was pretty big. Especially his arms were really impressive. Um, ah,
have you met a strong man like that guy you were just talking about, Brian? Have you met
yeah,
him?
yeah. I met him. I shook his hand, and his hand was. I was like shaking hands with like a baseball glove. He had these like sausage fingers, and his ink cap through my hand. And I'm a big guy still, but
Yeah.
and he just absolutely crushed me. I'm like, oh, this is scary. His forearms. I wouldn't be surprised if his forearms measured similar size to what everybody was upper arms.
Yeah.
Like
Wow,
he's just a big dude.
that's crazy.
That's
It's
why
it's very impressive.
big hands, big grip strength.
Yeah, exactly. That and actually one guy who I found very impressive was the late Rich Piana. I'm not sure if you guys probably met him back in his day.
I never met
Rick
him.
Piana, did you say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I've met him. Yeah,
He was like genuinely a big dude. He was a big dude.
yeah. His arms and like just the mass here.
Yeah. The
It's
mass here, obviously, like his like shoulder and chest and arm was just
oh,
like, what is that? Like, that's not an arm, that's a leg.
That's my goals. I want to be a freak more than a pro. I just want to be like people like that guy's fucking dumb big.
Yeah, I think all bodybuilders love the idea of being this different, of being a spectacle, of being not really, I guess, being noticed for being different. I think that's what we love. We love being different. We love being like, oh, what's that? We don't care if we look good. It's like, oh, that guy's
Yeah,
fucking jacked. That guy's impressive.
I just want to see the limits of my body. Like what can I do? I always think I love that Tron movie, and I always think of shaping the human condition. You know, he's trying to convert the world to a digital world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's me. I'm trying to shape my human condition, trying to find where that line is for me, where I just can't put any more mass in my body, will not go there.
Yeah, it's a scary line though. It's definitely a scary thing to because we're as bodybuilders, as people, we're trying to get as big as possible. We're pushing the limits. We're
Yeah.
pushing to extremes. We're doing extreme things because we want extreme results. We
Mm.
do not get extreme results without doing extreme things.
Yeah.
Even those people are genetically gifted, they're still doing extreme things at times, even though their off-season cycles, maybe maintenance cycles aren't that crazy. Before a show, they're doing extreme things to get show ready.
Mm.
Yeah.
And obviously holding the amount of muscle that they hold is extreme.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's not healthy. We're not doing this for health reasons at all. So it's scary as like myself, yourself, being like, we want to get as big as possible. It's like, oh, there's a trade-off here. Like
Yeah.
we want to push our bodies to the extreme, but we also want to be happy, healthy, and be able to enjoy that process.
Yeah.
And to what line that where's the breaking point
Yeah.
without us obviously going past that and putting ourselves in danger as well.
The healthier you can stay, the more you can push. So it's actually intuitive to stay as healthy as you can, but like you said, you're going to hit that point where your body is just it's going to be hard to push to a level of muscularity. Because like even now, I feel my body like 7 years ago I was half this weight. It's like
Yeah,
my just my bones and everything. Like what do you do? Like the knees, everything. It's like people don't understand that load on your body. It's not the drugs. It's generally the most health implications are the weight on the body. The heart's
I
got to
agree.
pump harder. It's the weight more than anything.
It's you are spot on. It's the weight we're carrying around. That's when I was actually, believe it or not, I actually did want to do bodybuilding when I first started bodybuilding. Until I realized I had to be like at my height in the 150s, 160
Yeah.
kilo weight range to be a competitive bodybuilder.
Yeah.
On off season on stage, I have to be 140, high 130s on stage, right? Because I'm taller than Andrew Jack, and Andrew Jack is still not big enough, and he's close to 140 on stage,
Yeah.
mid 130s. And it's like, yeah, that's not going to happen for me. It's just not going to happen. And the extremes, I pushed up there before. I'm not crazy high, but I pushed it almost 150 kilos. And I was like, oh, this is a lot of weight to carry around. Even without the drugs,
Yeah.
this is a heavy body. And my
It's like,
body, my system didn't like being that heavy. Some people can do it, some people can't.
I
it's
know,
like
like Ron Parlow, Dusty Hanshaw, they always,
Yeah,
Scott McNally has a CPAP, but Ron and Dusty have never had one. So their bodies are happy to carry that weight.
that's nuts.
Yeah.
That's
That's
that's that's
crazy.
that's nuts.
I think maybe getting there early might be better because as your body's used to it at a younger age, whereas if your body's set more in its ways, doing it later in life, it's harder.
I also think like even with myself, I use a CPAP machine, but I'm not diagnosed with sleep apnea. It just helps me sleep better,
Yeah.
and I think it's a bit. I'm willing to go through wearing the machine to make me feel slightly better each day, even though I don't need to wear it. But that's, I guess, these are the things that we do. We make sure our health is as good as it can be, so we're able to keep the physiques and keep the musculature we have. Because if we start being slack on our health, like you said before, healthy body can grow well.
Mm.
We start looking worse. We start not being able to grow as much muscle. We can't maintain this image. So we have to do all these little things to make sure we're healthy,
Yeah.
which is nuts considering we're bodybuilding, we're going to the gym, we're eating well, we're doing all these things which are healthy, but it ends up being not healthy.
Because when you take anything to the extreme, with everything out of the spectrum, there's always a range of health, and as soon as you go too far one end, too skinny, too fat, too heavy, too light, there's always a mid range where, other than that, forget it.
And this happens with all sports. All sports that are at a high level, especially individual sports who are at the highest level, that revolve around any physiological trait itself. So not a skill-driven sport, a sport that's based on a physiological trait, whether it's endurance, strength,
Mm.
you name it. It's going to require extremes to get there, and it will take a big toll on the body.
Like
Regardless,
like you're saying, NBA, like you can be very good explosive driving to the basket, but that's going to hinder your endurance over the 48 minutes. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like you gotta have that happy medium. You're like you can go hard for 6 minutes, we can sub you off for two, or you can stay on for eight, but then you're not gonna be as explosive driving down the lane or something. You have to refine your body to where perfection is.
yeah. But this is where the danger lies because someone like us as bodybuilding have the only thing we want to do is get big muscles. We don't
Yeah.
care about we don't care about our agility or our endurance or our power. We don't care about these traits at all. We just care about being as muscular as
Mm.
possible. And it's all like something like marathon running, endurance running, Ironmans, they care about being as fit as possible, and that comes with its own unique set of risks.
Yeah.
That's too. So it's just like some of basketball, at least it's a skill-based sport. So you can have that balance and you can sort of you're pushing to the extremes. All these guys do run to issues at some point from the extremes of pushing themselves in. And the exposure to these extremes, especially when it comes to injury risk, like nothing we're doing is dangerous really in terms of the training side of things. But we're exposed to it so much that at some point we're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Just from sheer exposure.
Yeah.
No other reason. It's like basketball players will get hurt. You'll hurt yourself playing basketball for 20 years. It will happen. Yeah, it's very likely.
It's
Same
like,
with most
yeah, you have to train, training keeps your muscles healthy, bone density. It's like exercise is nothing but benefits. Yeah, to a point. And then when you're fucking squatting 400 kilos for 10 reps for 10 years and your knees are just busted ass by the time you're 60. It's like there's the happy medium exercise as well. Like not all exercise is healthy. Like Ironman, if you do an Ironman training full on, they're trying to get EPO doping, oxygen, trying to beat world records. Like eventually they're going to hit walls. Their body's going to shut down.
Yeah.
You get
Oh
rhabdo,
yeah.
everything. Like
Yeah. No, it's extreme. But this is the beauty of it as well. The beauty is in this because this is what people want to see. People want to see these extremes.
Yeah.
And this is why, back to our previous conversation, we don't care about fit models because it doesn't require these extremes. And we do care about bodybuilding and other extreme sports because it requires the extreme effort.
It's right, because if things are easy to achieve, it's not worth it. Nobody cares.
Exactly.
It's like in life, just say you won the lotto, like, yeah, you'd be fucking real happy with the money, but I'm pretty sure you'd be pretty depressed pretty soon chasing because you'd buy a lot of things that cause enjoyment, but you'd be struggling to find happiness.
And that's a really common theme when it comes to celebrities, especially musical artists and stuff. They love their music, they become rich, become famous, they're not happy. It's like, why are you guys happy? It becomes to do because they get too much reward, they get too much money, and they just sort of lose their happiness from it. It's like if you became open bodybuilder from one workout. It says it wouldn't be fun, it wouldn't be rewarding, you wouldn't like it.
You see it a little bit just because the Australian Open's open. Nick Kyrgios, he's like a tennis prodigy, but he just doesn't care. He's bored.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, another guy's asked us to move on from that question. He's been running low dose tests for years, 1 mil up to 2 mils, but now he's decided to get bigger. So now he wants to go 3 mil sus, 2 mil primo. So he's on 5 mil total. And near the end, he wants to add 1 mil transo. Near the end, I don't know how many weeks, but eventually be 6 mil all up. Thought I'd ask the experts how we'd set up the pins and the amount of pins per week and stuff.
Well, I'd be asking him about his nutrition first.
Yeah.
I'd say even before we answer this question, can we just agree? I mean, this is what I think. Can we all agree to stop talking about mils and start talking about milligrams?
Yeah.
Like,
I know. I hate the mils.
Tell me the milligrams. Tell me how much drug you're taking. I don't care about the volume of the drug. Tell me how much of the actual drug you're taking.
Yeah. I tell clients, I'm like, oh, like when we're on cruise or whatever, I'm like, oh, 50 meg of test, every other day or something. They're like, oh, so how much mils is 50 meg? I'm like, fucking do some maths.
That's one thing I'm very surprised about is a lot of clients I have in the past, and even now, and people that ask me questions, they really don't understand how to do basic conversion to math. So they can't convert your milligrams per mil into how much you need to administer, right? Which is very, very simple maths. It's something that everyone should know. And the fact that they can't figure out the simple maths always leaves me a little bit worried. I'm like, if you can't figure out how much to administer of the volume and you know how much milligram per mil it is, maybe you don't understand enough about this to actually pursue it.
Clean's the worst because everyone runs clean for dieting and it's always some weird number like 150 mcg per mil. And I'm like, 20 mcg. Oh, how do I work that out? I'm like, it's fucking... I can't do everything for you. You got to go away, do some of your own research. Not only that, if you're someone who wants to take a substance, you should do your own sun-based research.
Yeah. I mean, just get a calculator out for concepts, right?
You probably ask ChatGPT these days. You probably just type in, or if this is 150 per mil, how much is 20 mcg? You'll probably ChatGPT will tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, hamstring cramp. Ah! Oh,
You're such a baby.
Oh, that cramped up good. It's not good. Oh, that's bad.
First of all, is this guy? We don't even know anything about this guy.
Just, I know nutrition and everything. Let's just answer the actual question because otherwise it'll go too deep. First of all, if he wants to get bigger, he shouldn't be using Tren. Let's be all
But
agree
yeah,
up.
take that trend away.
I hate when people use
So,
Tren. Tren, for everyone listening, competitors only. Like,
But not even competitors.
yep,
Like you need to be like a level 4 or 5 competitor. Like you
yeah,
need to
done a few preps.
be road to pro, not fucking this is my first show. I'm gonna jump on trend.
And also strictly maybe classic and open bodybuilding.
Yeah, like no bikini, no one needs to be taking that.
I don't know why people think because you got studies to train on paper as the most muscle growth. It doesn't work that way. It disrupts sleeps. It causes too much body. It's just too much stress on the body. Tren is never a growth drug.
that's the thing, right? I'm not sure why people don't understand the fact that yeah, Tren's a cool drug. You see people take Tren, you see online that people are shredded with Tren, and I get it. But I'm not sure why everyone goes to it for one, even their first cycles, they're using Tren. I'm finding people with their first cycles. It's like
Mm.
you realize there's a pros and cons to every drug you take. And the pros with Tren are specific, and they're very specific to situations in a need. But you can use another drug, something that's clinically approved for human use, and you can probably use 5, 6, 7, 8 times the amount of Tren, of this other drug, get a lot larger anabolic response with less side effects, more growth, and all you've done is just change that simple drug choice. Yeah, you're not taking trend, but you're getting better results. And I'm not sure why people seem to think that trend means gains. A lot
Probably
of times
because
with competitors, especially you guys, you're probably only using trend at the end of the cut.
yeah.
I mean, maybe not, but probably usually at the end of the cut. That's probably the only time you're really using it because
Mm.
that's where I find it seems to shine. Loads of trend, anti-catabolic effects, maybe a slight boost in thyroid, who knows? But outside of that, it's like you said, disrupt your sleep. You feel like you're very sympathetic. You feel very jacked up. You feel very nervous almost at times, and it just provides a host of potential side effects which are unnecessary. They're completely unnecessary. You don't need them because it's not doing anything extra for you for building
And like
muscle.
like we were saying before, like the healthier you feel, the better you grow. So you put
That's
something in that's going to make you less healthy, it's counterintuitive to growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're better off putting a millidecker in. I'd rather put a millidecker in, which is
yeah,
it's been studied. Jack has been used for TRT. She's been used for like breast cancer, HIV patients. Like for muscle retention. Trend's only
yeah,
been used on cattle.
yeah. Even with this guy's question, so we agree. Take out the trend. We
Yeah,
don't need we don't
Yeah.
need trend in this thing. Probably the other thing is probably escalated a bit quickly, in
yeah,
my opinion.
yeah.
It probably doesn't need to escalate from 2 meals a week to 6 meals or whatever it's going to go to.
Mm.
I mean, he probably needs to keep a gradual escalation over time and extend that time frame up longer. He's
Yeah.
probably thinking at 2 months, 3 months, maybe thinking ahead 6 months, 12 months growth phase, a bit longer, and let's see how we can get to that next level.
Yeah, because if he's been doing the 1 to 2 mil for a while, decided to get bigger now, he's doing already the 3 mil sus 2 mil premium. That's 5 mil up from 2 mil. That's over double what he's been doing. Like to that 2 mil he's on now, just add the mil primo.
Yeah,
Like,
perfect.
that's it.
Done.
Just add the mil primo, and already that's a whole nother. That's 1 to 2 years of growth right there on that.
Yeah, the patience to add that in, and obviously you probably have very minimal side effects. He probably want you to cycle off that for a long
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
and he can make those gains for the next year or so, and he can be awesome.
And do we all agree on like pinning is the more frequent you pin, the better you are. Every day is the best. Every second day is fine, especially at 3 mil. But every third day, that starts being a bit too far for me.
With me personally, I find pinning annoying.
Yeah,
And I agree that the more frequently you pin, you're probably going to be better off in regards to side effects and the way you're feeling and the way you progress. Well, the way you progress is debatable, but the way you're feeling, the way side effects, I agree. You're probably better off doing every day, every other day. But for me, it's bloody annoying.
yeah,
And I find for a lot of my clients, especially if they're lifestyle clients or general profession clients, I try and get away with less. Not
yeah,
saying it's the right way, just for them and their adherence and just their progression.
Yeah.
Twice a week, 3 times a week, I think is okay until the amount of oil becomes too high when they're injecting such large amounts in one bolus, when that becomes an issue in terms of regards to post-injection pain and this big old needles. Like as soon as you get past of 3 mil or 2, 3 mil in injection, that's a lot to go on an injection. But
Yeah.
I think for most people, 2 times a week to 3 times a week, okay with that dosing. As soon as the dosing gets higher, you probably want to divide the frequency up quicker. In my
So,
opinion, right?
so
I
the
agree
general
with you.
the general
Yeah.
consensus is what we're saying is personal preference.
Yeah.
If you like pinning once a week, but you feel shit at the end of the week, you either deal with the one pin or you deal with the feeling shit. Or you don't want to feel shit anymore, pin 3 times a week. And then until you
Yeah,
get sick of pinning, maybe I'll scatter back to two, try 2 pins. If you feel fine, keep it at 2. So it's
I
personal.
would say the general population pin as infrequently as you can tolerate in regards to effects. And if
Mm,
that's once a week, fantastic. But if you're getting effects when you feel like shit, you increase that frequency. And
yeah.
how much you increase that frequency will depend on your tolerance, your values, and what you want to do with that. That gets goal.
It's like we were saying last podcast with Sam and Cam. Like I can pin B on Friday and it should be crashing on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like we need to pin every second day.
And you'll find that each individual metabolizes the drugs
Yeah.
differently too.
Yeah.
So even
That's
though
fine.
the test D half-life is, 5 to 7 days or 10 days or whatever source you may want to say the half-life of test D is, each individual will metabolize that drug differently. Each individual will have a different response to that drug. Each individual will have a different psychological response to that drug as well.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you want to sort that out with the client, the individual themselves. If they're fine with doing once a week and they can tolerate that, great. If they're like B and can't increase the frequency, fixed, done, move on with your life.
So to answer his question is, as always, it depends. Like I tell people every time they ask me questions, I'm like, you can't, like when people are like, oh, just quickly, like I know you charge for information and stuff, but just could you quickly answer this? I'm like, there is no quick answer. There is never a quick answer. There's always it depends, and I need so much context. There's no rule of thumbs in this kind of stuff, and that's why coaching is needed because people can't make their own decisions, and they can, but they get anxiety because they don't know what they're doing is right, and a coach just. You can tell them that, yep, okay, he told me this, I'm doing that, and then we rely on their feedback and we adjust accordingly.
I say, yeah, most decisions, yes, they rely context, but they also require time, and then to the feedback and the symptoms from that initial application. So you apply what you think is right, you give that a week, 2 weeks, days, the case would be, see how they respond, adjust accordingly, move on again, adjust when you need, move on. If you're not constantly adjusting when symptoms go bad, that's when people start messing up. That's when they get extreme side effects. That's when they start going backwards. That's when they're getting sick. They make gains. There needs to be adjustments made when they're necessary. That being said, don't adjust when it's not necessary. Only adjust when it's actually necessary.
If it ain't broke, don't break it.
Yeah, 100%.
I was actually listening to a podcast the other day with Scott Stevenson talking about short S's to long S's because some people there's still that stigma of I've got to be on the short S's near shows and stuff. It's like if you're on a cycle, the long S's are always going to get a better peak, but they take 5 to 6 weeks and then you hit your peak levels and then it basically stays consistent. Whereas short S's hit real high real quick, almost to the same peak as a little bit less than the long S's because the long S's build over time, but they drop down real quick. Like they were even doing things on like the test P and mass P were dropping as already halving at 12 hours.
You will never get as high as serum levels with a propionate or an acetate as you will with an anthate or a longer ester.
I never tell people to worry about short S's anymore because it's too frequent pinning. You get less value for money. It's just not worth it. Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree. I'm saying
and less a specific example when you need it to be in and out.
Yeah. Or I mean, also in cases where maybe a female competitor who you want it in and out, or another situation, competitive situation, testing situations where it needs to be out and not accumulate over time.
Or like maybe a female you need like generally the fastest is a lower dose, so it's easier to do a lower dose as well.
Yep, agree.
But then as well, if it is a lower dose, but it's a fast acting, you end up actually doing more because you have to pin so frequent. So it's still hard, but yeah.
Everyone wants to pin every day. No thanks.
we pin every day anyway. That's what GH is.
It's different.
It is different.
That's different. That's fine. I could do that twice a day. That's fine.
Yeah, well, then your insulin as well. When you're doing like GH twice a day and insulin, and then if you're doing Landis and pre and post insulin, that's already 5 needles a day before you even talk about oils.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah. I mean, to me personally, I often mix my a lot of my subcutaneous drugs together.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they may not be best mixed together, but because it makes me pin less frequently, I would do it that way. Even at the moment, because I'm taking my peptides, I'm taking my BBC, my TB, and my GH. I put them all in the same pin.
Oh yeah.
There may be
but not with oils. Just to let people know, you can't mix peptides with oils.
No, yeah, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, even with the I'll do them together. I'll also put Lantus in that too if I need to. If I'm taking Lantus, I'll do insulin with carnitine maybe same pin.
That's all sub-Q. Do you do them all sub-Q or intramuscular?
I do it. I normally do the insulin and Lantus, insulin and carnitine intramuscular.
Yeah.
because
Are
I
you doing
use,
GH and peptides sub-Q?
yeah, correct.
Yeah. And to let people know as well, because I've had this question before, oils can be mixed, like mass tests and that. I've had people ask if they can put oils in the same. I'm like, yes.
Yes.
Oils. But yeah, peptides, I put peptides in my GH as well. It's just sometimes it's so hard to draw them up in those needles.
Yeah,
All right, so that answers that guy question with his pinning and his escalations. This one, oh, not a question, just appreciates us. Can't afford the coach, so he loves the content.
That's good
Yeah.
to hear that.
Well, that's why I like doing it. I like putting out content because I feel there's so much mixed information out here. Everyone is because I get so many flooded with questions at the gym. I want to train, and I'm flooded with so many questions. I'm trying to put more information out there so people don't have to ask so many questions, or I can direct them to comment on a YouTube thing, and I'll get address that question next time
Mm.
because they're
yeah,
so long to answer. Because I don't want to give them a shit answer, and I can't give them a good answer in 5 to 10 minutes.
yeah. It's challenging. I do Q&As each week, because I find it provides value. But a lot of times I do Q&As and I won't hear any feedback, no likes, no comments on my Q&As. And then I'll get a comment being like, "Oh, I love your Q&As," like, and it's like, I know I'm providing value, but it's hard to justify sometimes.
Yeah,
But the other thing I find with this also is a lot of times I get questions in the Q&A from people who also have a coach, which I find that you might get the same too. I'm just like,
yeah, yeah.
and I find this to kind of frustrate me,
Yeah,
Mm.
kind of
that's
frustrate me.
very
Yeah,
frustrating.
because they're asking you, well, you're like, why don't you get me to coach you? Because
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah,
you
ask your
coach
coach.
it. Yeah, why aren't you asking your coach? If you're not asking coach, well, if he doesn't know, that should be red flags that you shouldn't be with him.
Yeah,
Like I get people coming to me and they're asking me dosages and stuff. Oh, my coach put me on this. I'm like, oh, what should I run? I'm like, if he's telling you to go on something, well, I'm not telling you the dose. Oh,
yeah. I think clients are often confused. I mean, I think a lot of times it's not even the coach's fault at all. Like the coach will probably answer the question really well,
yeah.
but these people asking these questions, just I'm not sure whether they want different perspectives or they're unsure or they're impatient probably, about their sort of what they're doing, which
Or
is normal.
maybe they're even trying to confirm that their coach knows what they're doing because they know
That's
you're reputable. They know you're reputable. They're like, oh, if he says the same thing as my coach, that confirms I can trust my coach.
yeah. He just
Which
wants
is
to
Yeah,
still, but that's still bullshit because I'm like, well, you're paying him. You should be, if you've done your because even when you get a coach, you should do your research on the person. Be like,
yeah.
yep, okay, I'm good enough to trust him. If you start paying him, you should trust what he says and trust the whole process. Do his process for at least 6 months until you can make an honest assessment of what that coach has done for you.
I agree. I agree.
But yeah, I get way too many questions, and I'm like, man, that's why I'm sick of giving free advice. It just takes up, it just burns you out. It's too much time. Everyone's for free. I feel like, I'm like, I don't go to a mechanic and start asking, like, how can I fix my own brakes in my car? Just, take it half an hour out of your time. Like, you come explain to me how to change my brakes.
Yeah,
I can go do it myself. It doesn't work like that. I either pay to go get my brakes done, or I don't have brakes.
Well, you
it's
go on YouTube
even,
and find out.
Yeah, go on YouTube once you do it, which is what we're here for. That's why I tell people now. If they come over or whatever, they ask me questions at the gym, I'm just like, comment on YouTube because then at least I'm going to get YouTube traffic that might correlate to some monetary gain later on.
And
yeah,
most of the time, it's the same questions being asked.
Mm.
So it's like, no, we've addressed this. Like, but if one person's thinking it, how many other people are thinking it? Probably heaps.
yeah, yeah. It's a weird time and age because people are now more open with PD talking and stuff, and people are at least more open to ask questions. People are more open about sharing experience and stuff, which leads to two things. It leads to one, more misinformation being spread, which makes
Yeah.
our jobs harder.
Yeah.
But it does often lead to people being more educated as well. So it's like a double-edged sword with this whole thing now. So we're trying to fight this battle
Mm.
of correcting people, not only correct because the other thing, I will continue on this. The other thing is, like you said before, there's always context required. It's always it depends. And a lot of things we are doing with our clients is it's not medical advice. We are basically giving a process based off our experiences and what we know and what we deem is safe and appropriate for the individual and their values. But there's often no right or wrong to an extent. Sometimes it's silly, but often there's many ways to do things.
Yeah.
So people can be getting different opinions, different answers, but not understanding why, and then they're getting confused further, and then they're asking more questions because all the answers are different. But they all might be right answers, but they don't understand.
Yeah.
I always tell them it's like a million ways to skin a cat, or I could be like, like a basketball. You could shoot a three, a slam dunk, a layup. Someone could just throw up a wild card, it goes in. I'm like, but you know what? All those shots still went in.
Mm.
Same
Yeah.
thing. Same thing with like we were talking about the pinning. You could pin, someone could pin, I've only ever pinned every weekend my whole life. Some guy could be like, I've pinned every day my whole career. But yet they're both here at the same, they're both pros at the same level now. But
Yeah.
they've gone a different path there, but they've both ended up there. There's no right
And
or wrong.
the other sort of frustrating thing is with the PED world is it's a frustrating thing, but it's also a very good thing. The thing is that these are drugs because they work and
Yeah.
they're reliable and repeatable. And because they work, people get results regardless of what they
Yeah.
do, which leaves us in a bit of a pickle because they'll say, oh, I took this, I made this result, what should I do next? And it's like, and you say take less or take something else, it's like, and they've already got these gains and they're getting told to be taking less or taking something different. It's just like, yes, you can take whatever drugs, you can take testosterone at a random dose, and you're going to get results.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is why we're here because we're trying to get them long-term gains.
Yeah.
We're trying to get them progressing as long as possible, as healthy as possible, and that's the message we're trying to get across by the education is to get their game continuing. Because anyone can go out there and take any amount of drug, any amount of testosterone, trenbolone, whatever, and make good gains, and that's a very annoying part about this.
Yeah, that's right. In the research, loosely based, all drugs per mil are going to grow the same. So it doesn't matter what concoction you throw together, you're going to grow. That's why I hate when clients come to you. You get it the same, like you said before at the very start of the podcast. It's always questions about drugs when it's like that's the least they should be worried on. If you have your foundation right, you're eating and you learn how to train fucking properly, and you know how to eat properly. You can basically take whatever drugs you want. You're always going to gain the same amount of muscle mass at the end of a 10-year career, providing you take what you take to stay as healthy as you can. Like some people be like, oh, okay, my body hates Deca. Okay, we'll push test higher and mast higher. Oh, I don't like the next client. Oh, mast doesn't really work for me. Okay, we'll do primo and Deca with the test base. So it's all just about how you feel on what. But at the end of the day, that's the least of the thing that matter. The drugs are actually the least thing because, like you said, they fucking work. So whatever you
Yeah,
do, it's the foundation that matters. So you can put a building on sand, on concrete, or on like a pile of loose rubble. It's going to fall over on the loose rubble. It's going to shift in the sand. But if you put it on a solid foundation, it's going to fucking stand there. And it's the same with drugs and nutrition. If you get your nutrition and training right, that building you build is going to be as high as possible because you got on a sturdy foundation.
this is great. This is great because we know drugs work, and drugs may be probably the biggest factor which makes change. However, your potential is based on your lifestyle, which includes your training and diet. That's your potential. Your potential is here. This is your max potential, is training, diet. Drugs, we know they work. They're going to push that potential.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have this ticked off, the drugs aren't going to push shit. They're not going to put them. The building's going to fall over, right?
Yeah. Another way of looking at it is drugs are sending trades to a site. You can send all the fucking trades you want, but if you've got no materials there, they ain't building shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people, they'll take, like you said, like early on, they'll come to us, all this drug advice, and they'll take drugs, and they'll get to a certain point, and all they do is hit a wall, and they cannot get further. Doesn't matter what they fucking take because their foundation is just crap. Like you said, it will not go propel any further because they need to restart from the start. Right, I need to get diet nutrition in line because, like we were even saying before, with the smallest increments make a change. I need to start eating the right thing, training the right thing, manage volume, manage progression, so they can see where they need to make the tweaks to progress from that wall they hit. But their answer is throw more milligrams at it. And it's always going to do is it's counterintuitive. It's going to make them more unhealthy, probably hate bodybuilding even more, and get that stigma which we hate as bodybuilders is, oh, drugs fucked my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, no, you fucked your life. But yeah, hopefully it changes one day when people realize that, because that's at the end of the day, that's more where you need a coach is the nutrition, or you need to be told, because it's hard to regulate your food as much. Like, oh, when do I increase the calories? Like, because your mind tells you what you want. I want to eat some more food, but you don't actually need it. And that's where you need the other set of eyes the most.
Yeah.
And stuff and the training, like even me sometimes I'll rewatch my video and be like, oh, you know what? My elbow could have dropped a bit lower there, or I could have held my back a bit tighter in that video. And I ask clients all the time, like, send me as many form videos as you want so I can assess, because I'm not there to PT. You know what I get? I never get videos. But then they're like, "Oh, my chest isn't growing. You said I'd grow." I'm like, "You have okay." I said I'd grow on the conditions that you gave me effort. You haven't shown me. It's been 3 months now. I haven't seen one training video. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you want from me? You're paying me, you're investing in your health. You're paying me X amount. That's an investment. That's like paying healthcare. Like I'm paying you, help me get bigger. All right. Well, how do you want me to help? If you're not giving me anything, I can't.
Got to help themselves too.
Yeah.
There's
Because
only so much.
they don't understand how much training makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like you said, mate, you can still move weight, but you're going to get to a point where it's not going to be enough. You're going to have to make a few alterations to hit your muscle better. And some people just
Yeah.
don't learn that.
Yeah, I like getting sent videos too, but I think people often misunderstand why they send the videos because it's not only to assess their technique. Like, yeah, we can look at the technique, see how we can change things to maybe target the muscle in a certain way we want to target it. But a lot of times also, so we're seeing that they're consistently executing the movement the same each week, and that their level of intensity is appropriate for what we prescribe for them. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I find clients they execute really well, and they'll send me a video of like 5 reps out of a 10 rep set. I'm like, where's the rest of the reps?
Yeah.
Where's the rest of your set? Oh, I showed you how I was doing it. No, show me your
Good
working set.
set,
Show me
yeah.
your last working set. Let me see your level of intensity. Let me see where you break down. Let me see this entire set. Then I'll tell you if it's good or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
they could have great form at the start of their set, and let's say they're doing 12 reps. The first five that they've sent you is fucking fantastic. Then they've edited it, cut it, sent it off to you. But
Yeah.
then the last six are absolute dog shit
yeah.
Mm.
because they're either fatigues, they don't know when to stop, or XYZ. So it's
Yeah.
so hard.
Or they're doing like 5 RIR, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost
That's
Yeah.
way too easy.
that stimulus is not gonna induce growth. Or they could just be doing they want to grow their chest, and all they're doing is pressing with their shoulders. You're like, oh yeah, okay, you are pressing, but we need to focus it. I can see how you're doing it. You're actually anterior delt focused. Or we need to make your press more chest focused. Just things,
Yeah.
little things like that, because so many people, especially on the flies and stuff, everyone's anterior delt focused. They always get their shoulders always dominate their chest.
Yeah. But one thing I will say as well on that, yes, it's important to get the muscles targeting we want to target. But also, I will say that everyone has their own unique genetic makeup and their own
Yeah.
unique ability to build muscle. And some people will build muscle in some areas better than other areas, no matter what they do. Like you have someone who can execute a tricep extension perfectly. You can escalate their volume. You can do all this stuff for triceps, but their triceps just don't grow. That's
Mm.
just it's just they just have small triceps, and that's just sort of as they get bigger, they kick in bigger, and that'll be a weak point. And at the end of the day, it's like there's not much we can do about that,
Yeah.
and it's hard to tell them that because everyone responds differently to the training, to the drugs, to the food, to everything. And this is again to start the conversation. This is what separates the freaks and the pros is that not everyone can be a pro bodybuilder.
No.
Yeah.
But that's also another reason why you got to monitor it even more. So you can be like, okay, well, triceps have always been my weak spot growing up for the last 5 years. Let's drop everything down to maintenance and put that tricep volume up. And if you have a standard of I always train to failure and I always do my reps strict, you can know increasing that is definitely increasing the volume. Whereas if you do cheat reps and you're using your body and stuff, if you add an extra set in, you might just be always using more momentum, not actually using your triceps. That's why
Yeah.
the shittier genetics are, the more attention you need to pay to detail.
Yeah,
Mm.
and there's always you can always improve that, right? So even if they have shitty genetics, they can always improve. They can always get better at that part. It may not be great, but it can definitely get better.
Yeah,
I find a lot of my, I mean, you're both the same. I find a lot of my clients, well, not a lot, but a few of my clients lately, they just really want to focus on arms. And so we've been doing arms at the start of all their workouts. So we have like arms at the start of the workouts. The volumes actually stayed the same. It's just the focus and the intent has changed and the tempo has changed and stuff. And there's definitely improvements. Even though these clients still have genetically weak arms, they definitely can improve and can
yeah,
probably get as big as they want. It's just not necessarily going to be as big as Joe in the background over here who
yeah,
has giant arms without training him.
yeah, as big as Phil Heath.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right.
I know. I hate one thing I hate is when people listen to them that Phil Heath trains like this. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Didn't matter how he trained, he would have had big arms. If he said, oh, go, if he trained heavy all his life, he'd have the same arms. If he trained light all his life, he'd have the same arms. That's just the genetics. That's when
Yeah,
you know you're a freak. It doesn't matter. Oh, I've never really focused on back, but it's back big. You're like, okay, well, you're just a freaking back. Like
yeah,
her calves. She did ballerina growing up. So when people are like, how do you get big calves? I'll go back in time and be a ballerina for the first 8 years of your life.
Yeah, I
You know?
don't train them. Oh, you're joking, you don't train them. No, I don't train them. Like Luke puts them in my program once a week where I've started to do them, but it's more of a stretch now than anything. But I don't train them. And they're like, oh, you're joking. No, actually, I'm not joking. No, it's just genetics too.
And,
And
and
that's it, right?
everything's
And
genetic. Oh, you go.
I'll say that's an example. Obviously, to being you are a genetic freak, full stop. But your calves, some of these pro bodybuilders have multiple body parts like that.
Hmm.
Like where
Yeah,
it's just like they're just
that's
that's how they are.
I know. Yeah.
Can't beat genetics. But you can still try fucking hard. You can still,
That's
like,
it. Still got to put in
yeah,
effort.
like Matt said though, like you don't have to have freak genetics. You can have the most shit genetics and still get huge compared to anyone in the gym and look like a freak like that. Because that's still like 40% of a Mr. Olympia. But to gyms around here, that's like, oh man, that guy's the biggest guy in the gym. You know, like that's easily attainable. But they unfortunately they're just going to have to put in the same effort that Mr. Olympia puts in to get to that 40% of.
And the thing with I say the thing with the effort as well, or should I say perceived effort,
Hmm,
because your perceived effort can be different.
yeah,
See, I find some clients who are really struggling, and they're dieting down, they're on a low calories, maybe they're on 2,000 calories, they're starving, they're really going for, they're struggling, and they're complaining a lot, and they're saying how hard it is, and they're doing this, and they're absolutely struggling. Whereas if I was doing the exact same thing, I'm like, no worries, it's easy. But it's
yeah,
just that their perception of the effort is so much higher,
Yeah.
either due to their history, their environment, their exposures, or just
Yeah.
due to their physiological traits in response to what they're doing. It's harder for them than it is for me or you, or the case may be.
which is
It's the
funny
same,
because oh, go back.
the same as the perception of pain. Like my pain tolerance is completely different to Andrew's. Like,
And I'm screaming doing a set.
yeah, like the pain tolerance is different.
But like you were saying, so that manifests the then when they're struggling in 2000, they're like, I fucking hate. I'm like, the more you stress about it, the more you think you're going through hard times. It's counterintuitive to fat loss. So they're just going to tell themselves, oh, it's not that hard. It's not that, if they tell themselves it's easier, that's actually going to be better. Because like the more they get in a stress hole, they're going to lose weight.
Well, the thing with bodybuilding is we live in such a privileged life where we have food available whenever we want it. It's such a choice. It's such a
Mm.
choice for us to diet. And because we have to make those choices when we're dieting continually every day, we have to choose not to eat food when we're hungry. But like if I'm dieting, or probably you guys dieting, it's not a choice for me. If I'm
Yeah.
dieting, I have no choice to eat extra food. That's
Yeah.
it's not even an option in my head to eat extra food.
No.
I don't even consider it. With everyone else, it's a choice. They're constantly fighting this choice of holding back and not eating food. When if you change that mindset, be like, there's no choice. I don't eat anything else apart from my meal plan or the case may
Yeah.
be, and that's how you get the results. But again, everyone's different because we live in this world where we have the availability of food and choices and stuff on us. It's tough.
Mm. And we live in Adelaide, but there's nothing to do but go somewhere that's popped up on Instagram. That's the only thing I can do. The thing I hate the most is one of my dad's the worst. It's like, oh, one bite won't hurt. I hate that. I'm like, man, they ain't gonna say. I'm like, it's not even about the one bite won't hurt. It's about I've, it's a slippery slope. You slip, how far do you slip? It's like, nah,
It's about the decisions. It's about
yeah,
your psychological mind,
discipline.
and that's how it all works. Because yes, it won't hurt, but it hurts up here.
Yeah.
It changes the perception of what you're doing, and then that continues to happen each day and each day and each day, and all of a sudden you're not where you need to be because you've made these little choices. That you've made the things that won't hurt. They hurt over time. They may not hurt that much, but if you're a bodybuilder, they hurt a lot.
Yeah, and then like that's why you need a coach because the deeper you go, like I'm probably not obviously not lifestyle clients, but when you're going towards a show, you're going to run into fatigue issues, and it's going to be hard when you self coach to be like knowing when to pull back, and when you do need more food, when you do need that
Yeah,
little extra bite, that 50 grams of rice, per meal on the that high day or something like that's when it gets hard when you have to tell yourself if you need more. Because when you start feeling like you start, oh, I need a refeed day, and then you start counteracting, you're like, shit, do I? Because you're coaching yourself. You're like, or am I just going easy on myself? And that's when you need a coach.
it's really tough because you can see it as a coach. You can see it quite clearly. Oh, I mean, not always, but there's a balance because you can lower food down and you can obviously keep trying to get someone leader. But at some point, increasing food will increase their output, will increase their
Mm.
training intensity, will increase their activity, which will actually result in probably a better training stimulus
Yeah.
and a larger deficit, even though you put that food up a little bit. So this is the hard thing about being a coach. You need to be aware of that individual, their outputs. Make sure they're not just being soft and slack at it, because that's what they are most of the time. Most of the time, they don't. Most of the time, they're just too soft, too slack. But there are times where a little bit extra food actually will progress their results to allow them to train harder, to allow them to progress further in the gym and to actually get more shredded, which is it's hard for them to understand. They're like, I don't want to eat more food. I'm getting it done. You watch their training. It's like you can't train like shit.
Yeah, the biggest factor I find is when you're fatigued. Obviously, when you get to like it's at least generally sub 8%. When you start getting low, that you definitely need refeeds. And I find that if you start having a high day and your weight drops, you're in a fatigue hole. Like you're on the brink of running in too much fatigue. If you have a high day and your weight jumps, your body's still responding quite well. But I feel like if you have a high day and you drop weight, you're never like, okay, you're fatigued because your body ran through that way too quick. Because that's generally what happens if you go to carb up any athlete and their weight starts rapidly dropping, you've pushed them too hard.
But it's also tough as a coach, and especially to express it to a client. There's so many variables involved in fluid dynamics, especially when their PDs are involved, that we can't always reliably say why it's gained or why it's increased or why it's dropped. We can guess, we can make assumptions based on if we've changed the diet, we increase carbohydrates or sodium. We can definitely make assumptions, but the fluid dynamics involves so many moving pieces that sometimes it's unpredictable, and we just need to make sure we have enough data before we actually make those decisions. Yeah. Where it's just like, oh, one day it's gone down, or freak out and change this. Where are we gonna maybe sometimes we're gonna let it go a couple more days, see what happens. Make sure things are balanced. Don't make a rash decision based off, I guess, a hunch, which sometimes is okay. But it's a hunch because we don't know everything. We're as coaches, we're making educated guesses all the time.
Especially when you get non-natural athletes or when you're enhanced, like that masks a lot of fatigue. And it's hard to be like, how are you feeling? And they're like, yeah, I'm feeling killer. Yeah, but you're on a thyroid medication to replace it, your energy levels. You're on, enough testosterone to, kill a horse. And you're on all these drugs. It's like, of course you're going to feel pretty damn good and your training's still good. But what are you really feeling? That's when it's hard to tell. That's why you got to, like you said, look at the data. Where can we see if there is fatigue? You got to look at, lost a rep here. Okay. Well, that's the first time you've lost a week in a month, lost a rep in a month. You've actually regressed. Or, how heavy do your legs feel to the leg session to leg session? Because your mentality might be all right because you've goofed up on all these nootropic drinks. Whereas when you're in natty, you're on less. It's actually easier to coach when you're on less because you can actually listen to the body.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Calm when you're enhanced. And that's why that's what happened to me in Romania. I hit after nationals, I'm like, I'll push a bit harder, I'll try to get leaner, and my body just stopped responding, and I got softer going to Romania, and then I tried to carb up, and then my body just wouldn't take any food. It was like 3 days I was eating like 8,000 calories. I even went out, I binged eat on the street one night. I'm like, fuck, I was lighter in that night than in the morning. And I'm like, shit, all right, let's just go out in the street and I'll eat whatever's still open. I had like a pizza, a cheesecake, some gelato, fucking ate all this stuff. I went to bed, my stomach was like bloated out to here. Woke up, stomach was flat as shit, but I was 2 kilos lighter. No, like how? It's
yeah. And then the thing is, like, we don't have the answer.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It defies the laws of physics, like calories in, calories out. I'm like, how the hell do you eat 10,000 calories and your body loses weight? Like I did nothing. I literally landed in Romania. I didn't even do one training session. I didn't train for 8 days and I lost weight. It doesn't make sense. And I was still taking all the same supplements. So it wasn't like fluid loss. So and I couldn't fill out. I couldn't get my lines in the top to show because I just couldn't get full. Because I couldn't even make super heavies like I did nationals. I had to check in as a heavyweight.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
It's just crazy how the body, and the bigger you get, the bigger the bodybuilder, the harder they start getting to manage. Because once you lose a big guy, you need like a week to get at least a week to sort of manipulate shit to get back.
Yeah.
It took you 2 weeks, like the week in Romania, the week after Romania, your weight still wasn't going up. I don't think it was until we hit Japan that your weight started to increase. So you were very fatigued.
Yeah.
You were so fatigued.
The problem with me as well, like, it was probably too long of a push between shows, staying lean too long for me because I've been that lean, and my training intensity was just too high. I should have dropped straight after the state show, or more so after nationals. I should have been doing like deload sessions. When because I was going to the gym, I trained too hard, and I was way too. I shouldn't have been doing it.
Yeah, and you were coaching yourself, so like, well, you had me to look over you, but you didn't have a coach to go, no, stop, that's enough. Yeah.
That's my worst thing is I push too hard.
Us as bodybuilders, by nature, we want to push.
You
We
just
want
keep
to push harder.
you
We
keep
want to train harder, right? So like we sort of want to train, even though we're deep in prep and the goal is to maintain muscle mass. And we're not building shit really for the most
Yeah,
part. We're just trying to maintain, get stimulus there, get a pump on. But we go to the gym, like, oh, I'm going to destroy myself this session. It's like,
yeah.
what? I don't need to do that. But we in our heads, like, no, I have
yeah,
to do it.
Yeah.
Have to cobble out this gym.
yeah. Every rep matters. I'm gonna die otherwise.
Yeah.
All right, should we end it there? You probably be busy soon, won't you, Matt?
Yeah, I probably should go do my cardio.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some steps in as well.
Mm.
We all got numbers to hit.
It doesn't stop.
Never stops.
Doesn't
Yeah,
stop.
Matt, do you get one? You when you did you ever compete, Matt?
No, I mean, well, I have hopped on stage once. I don't know many people know about this. This was in San Jose back in 2014 or 2015. But it was at the Fit Expo over there.
Oh, okay.
I was traveling America, went to the Fit Expo, and you could, I guess, on the day you could sign up for it. And I was just getting diced because I was traveling, I wasn't eating much, I was just pretty lean. So I was like, okay, screw it. I was doing men's physique. And that was sort of the first sign of me knowing that I didn't have what it took. Because I was in really good shape. I mean, yes, I hadn't comp prep diet, but I was close. I
Yeah,
was close. And I came fourth, which was okay out of like 10 or 11 people. But the guys ahead of me, it wasn't close.
yeah,
Like it was, I mean, not to put the race card out there, but there's two black guys who came first and second, just
Yeah.
round delts, just bubbly bodies. Like I was maybe bigger than them, but they just absolutely, me standing next to them, I look like a twig. I
yeah.
look like a twig just because they
Yeah.
were just bubbly round delts and chest and arms and
That's
I
my
had good abs, back was good, but it's just I was just like, holy crap! Like, this is. I thought I was a great. I thought I was a chance to win, but no, I was not even close, and it didn't spark my fire to do another comp. It didn't spark my fire to continue. I did have again since then. I did have times where I had fire sparks to become bigger and see how much I can push the size and go into maybe open or something. But since then, it was a reality check in terms
Yeah.
of what it takes genetically in terms of structure to become a competitive bodybuilder and what I would need to do to get there.
Well, that's why Jamie. I don't know if you're familiar with Jamie the Giant in England.
Yes, yep.
So yeah, like it's not only the size to fill out your frame at that height. It's also the food. Like for you to get as big as you need, obviously the weight on your health, but also you'd be like you'd have to probably get like 12 up to 12 to 14,000 calories in a day
It's all
to
it's
get to
funny because
100 to get that much.
well, it's a catch-22 because you can only eat so much food,
Yeah,
right? My belly's distended all the time if I'm gaining constantly full. Most of the time, if I'm doing a gaining phase around the weight I'm now, so mid 130s. If I want to push up higher, typically speaking, I can gain at around 7,000 calories or so. However, I have to reduce output
mm,
by reducing training and reducing steps and reducing cardio. But when I reduce steps and cardio, my health declines. So I
yeah,
can't push food
Yeah.
up anymore. I
yeah,
simply can't put more food. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm just stuck in this
yeah,
this parameter where I can't get out of it because I
yeah.
need to do more cardio. Because I need to be fit and healthier. But if I do more cardio, I need more food. But
Yeah.
there's just no way there's more food going in there. I just can't do it.
That's when you know, like that's it, your genetic, like your ceiling's there. You're only as good as your weakest link. Like once one link breaks, you're like, I can't get high because the chain keeps breaking. There's something in the chain
Yeah.
breaks. The only way to do it for you would be obviously be unhealthy, would be go through periods of extreme unhealthiness to push up weight and muscle and then get healthy and fit and lean. Push up, every time get like that 5 kilos heavier. But that's a big detriment to your health.
Well, this is what I was actually was what I was playing with. And the way I was playing with it was I was doing a technique of doing a 1 month gaining phase, a 1 month sort of maintenance or offense. I couldn't to gain a month is about what I could take. And then I need to come off and do like a maintenance slash cardio phase to retain fitness. I probably could have done a bit slower, a bit steadier at the gaining phase, but really, it's just the effort I was putting in
Yeah.
wasn't worth the reward I was getting out. And I knew in the back of my head still I didn't have that drive because I knew I didn't quite have the structure. Even if I was to get up to the mass monster size, I still knew on stage I'm not going to be a international pro. which would be the goal.
Yeah.
If I was to be serious about bodybuilding, I want to be international pro. I want to go and do it right. I don't care about going competing in Adelaide. If I was going to compete, I want to go and compete properly.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
say if you were like close to, you would have the potential to win Mr. Olympia, it'd be worth to do like, right, I'm gonna do 6 months, fuck my health, I'm putting that muscle mass on no matter what. But it's there's no reward there for you to do that. There's
Yeah,
not.
no.
Have you
And
seen,
I think that,
do you know Dave Crossland?
yeah,
Yeah, so you've seen him under construction now, he got to like 400 pounds or whatever.
yeah,
He's just
yeah,
huge.
yeah, yeah. He was fat though.
Yeah, so I mean, but like you'd have to get fat and big and then
Yeah,
cut
no,
down. You'd have to do that. And then, but like, who knows what health implications that could have brought on.
yeah. But the thing is, this is what a lot of people are doing. They're like me, who don't really have the genetics, but they really want to become a pro, and they are taking that health push
Mm.
to the extreme. This is where we're seeing these people get, heart attacks and sick and unwell, is because they don't have what it takes and having to go to an extreme measure to potentially have that chance there, when really it was never going to work anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
But then we're also not ones to tell them how to live their life. Like if they're
No, of
enjoying
course not.
if they're enjoying doing that,
Oh,
and do it like
yeah.
obviously me, I'm already going to be like this is going to put shorten my lifespan to somewhat degree. But like I'm like, well, if I'm not doing what I enjoy, I'm not living anyway. So I'm shorting my lifespan either way.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, even now, myself and yourself,
Yeah,
we are detrimenting our health. Even we're doing it the best way possible, and the way our values are aligned, and we're enjoying it, and we're sort of weighing up how to do it in the most healthy way possible. We are doing things detrimental to our health,
yeah,
and we accept it.
yeah. That's right. The reason why I brought up that thing
Take
before,
on the risk. Yeah.
yeah, except the risk, the ROI, the return on investment. If you're
Yeah.
not familiar with finance, when I was saying before with the competitive thing, like I don't know what it's like with everyone else, but as soon as we finish the shows, I mean, our family's like, "Oh, so that's it now, yeah, no more drugs, no more training." I'm like, nothing changes. It's literally
Yeah,
we're the same shit. It's just if you ask us out to dinner now, we can go out and not be rude. That,
yeah.
that's literally the only thing
I
that's different.
understand.
We have a bit
And,
more time because we're not doing an hour of morning cardio. We're a bit less cranky. There's no real difference to our lifestyles. Just sleep in a little bit, and we can go out and be a bit looser on food.
yeah, you'd be
Literally.
right. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
If you don't have this consistent lifestyle during the off season, during competitive, and same as the competitive scenario, chances are you're not going to be progressing because it requires that level of commitment to progress.
That's right. And on that note, how many clients come to you like, I want to do this show, and I'm like, they think like, oh, they're going to nail everything down. I'm locked in now. It's prep time. I'm like, do you know all the work's actually done in the off season?
Yeah.
Like, the prep
Yeah,
is just unrevealing your muscle mass. But if every year you do nothing between shows, and then all of a sudden you're locked in for prep, you can look the same every year.
Hmm.
Like,
yeah.
the off season is where they should be the most meticulous to an extent.
Yeah.
And this is why I think the pro bodybuilders confuse people, because the pro bodybuilders, especially the ones that do multiple shows per year,
Mm.
people again, like we said earlier, they're not necessarily progressing heaps. They've got the mass, they got the physique. They're just fine tuning it. They're not necessarily progressing heaps between shows. They can do 5 shows a year or whatever. That's fine. That's their job. They want to get paid. They can do that. But if you're like, I don't know, 80 kilos or 90 kilos trying to become a pro bodybuilder, it's like, no, no. You can't do 5 shows a year. You gotta build some muscle.
Yeah. Like it's funny when Tony says like, he goes to those
Oh,
seminars, compete as often as possible. I'm like, yeah, maybe if you're bikini.
that's the one part of your speech every year where I really want to say, I bite my tongue.
Yeah.
I'm just like, don't say anything, Matt. Don't say anything, because everyone there, pretty
Yeah.
much everyone at those seminars needs to build muscle, and they need to have time off competing. And he's telling them that they need to compete more times per year. It's like, oh, that's bad
Everyone
advice.
even everyone like the person who goes pro wipes the floor just about everyone that competes. And even them, then they're nothing in the pro ranks. They're like
Yeah,
they're years off. So it's like the people that are like here competing year to year. I'm like, man, don't you like take some time off because you're not even nowhere near going pro, and then those pros are nowhere near the top. So it's
there's
like
levels to it, isn't it? There's definitely levels.
you can take 10 years off and not be behind. You can take 10 years off and be in front of everyone that competes year to year. Open
Yeah,
bodybuilding is you need at least, they say open bodybuilding is at least a 10-year thing, minimum. A
Mm.
10 year of muscle progression.
Well, that
yeah,
was my proviso every time I stepped on stage. It's like, I'm not stepping on stage unless I've made enough improvements that I can win a pro card and then literally fall into a pro show. I don't want to go pro and then have to take another 2 years off for growth and to fix the issues. No, it's like, no, I'm going pro and then I will be ready for a pro show literally almost straight away. Which
Yeah,
I think Big Wolf will be the same in that position because she's come off winning a pro card and then straight into a pro show. She doesn't need that extra time off. Whereas
yeah,
almost every single person, not, I shouldn't say not every single person, but most of the ones that win their pro card these days, they need 2, 3 years off just to grow again before they even think about stepping on a pro show. And they
Almost,
don't
yeah.
realize that because they haven't been like, some of them haven't been exposed like we've been, pretty privileged to travel and do, quite a few shows and see quite a few shows. So yeah, it's hard, but
yeah. I won't compete until like 2027 now. I'm gonna have at least 2 years off.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
need
need
to.
I need to improve my arms. So I need to be at least in that 110 to 112 and a half on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, I think
While
with
keeping the
you,
same waist. Otherwise, I'll lose
I
the
was
shape.
I
But
was
yeah,
gonna say, I think with you, your structure's decent. Your
yeah,
structure's decent. The
Yeah.
arms are the blaring weak point, and if they go up by 1 inch to 2 inches, that would make such a large visual difference on
yeah,
stage that it
Mm.
would just change you from looking like, oh, he looks like an amateur to, oh, he looks like he's a pro almost, just from
yeah,
that one change. But that one change is probably a couple of years away.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one change is 20 months of hard work on focusing on the arms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, crazy, isn't it?
yes. But like, as Martin Fitzwater's only like 106, 107 on stage.
You
And
see,
yeah, and
I
he's
thought he
my
was
he's my height. He's my height.
oh,
So that's
yeah, you're right.
shape makes people don't understand how much shape makes a difference. If I can put like even me like a fully carved up 102, like I wasn't completely peeled. I could have always been leaner. You could always be leaner. But say I can be coming completely peeled at 105, 110. Like I could be like in a top 10 at a pro show.
But I think with
Structure.
Martin, he's done really well. His physique floats, but yeah, you're right. He's not a big guy, but because he has the nice physique, he's got the arms, he's got the lats, he's got the chest. He doesn't really have a weak point,
Yeah,
really. And when you put him next to someone, he doesn't look small because of that.
yeah,
Mhm.
And that's really interesting. Even next to some of the biggest guys in there. So what, if he's under 240 pounds, if he's 107,
yeah.
that's saying something.
And
That's saying something.
he nearly bet Nick at New York Pro, and Nick would have been like what 270, 265 next to him. And I think Nick's like I think they're the same size. Maybe Nick might be an inch shorter.
Yeah, I think that's Nick's issue, right? Because he doesn't have
Yeah,
those nice balanced physique, and that he's pushed more muscle to sort of make up for that
yeah,
to make him look bigger. Whereas you put next to someone who actually has the right balance, even though Nick may be 20 pounds, 30 pounds heavier, he doesn't look that much heavier.
yeah. That's right.
I am curious to see him compete next, though. I have to admit.
Oh yeah, well the rematch, him and Nick, Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
It's gonna be good.
I am curious for that.
I'm interested to see the Arnolds as well because you got Mr. Olympia rematch. You got Samson versus Derek.
Yeah, yep.
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
think
Samson will win.
I agree.
That whole Arnold vibe and feel, taller, more aesthetic guy. That's what the Arnold's is.
Samsung is sort of almost got his place. As long as he can come in to similar condition, I can't see him getting dethroned by anyone in the current ranks.
No.
Yeah,
Even if they came in on point, I can't really see him being beaten if Samsung comes in point. The
yeah,
only thing I would say is that it's personal bias. I like him. Andrew Jack, if he just puts
yeah,
a little more size and gets his side poses a bit better, I I would like that physique. I don't think he's
yeah.
going to beat Samsung, but I think he can be a second.
Yeah, I think he could be a second. Yeah. I think that's what I was saying on the podcast as well. And he just needs a
All right.
bit of thickness.
Yeah. And Samson's always, I think it's a little bit drier and grainier.
Yeah.
To be like the Ronnie Coleman, like if he can get as dry and hard as Ronnie Coleman, that's like 6, 8 year Mr. Olympia.
I agree. I agree.
I'm nitpicking here. I'm not saying he's not lean enough, but I'm saying like to be like in go down in history as one of the best Mr. Olympias. That's what he needs to refine is that dry, hard, thin skin condition.
Yeah, we don't know if he's capable of it yet.
Yeah,
That really crazy. Because since we had Phil had that look. We had obviously Ronnie had that look. But since Phil, we haven't really had someone who had that. I mean, Hardy has it, but
yeah,
Hardy's small.
yeah. But I think as well, it's more of a white person thing. Like if you're black and have that, that's it. You're a Mr. Olympia. Whereas the white people get Caucasian dry easy. That's why it's called Caucasian dry.
But like I said, like Like I think Phil pretty much had it. It
Mm.
wasn't like Ronnie, but he was close enough to having it, especially
Yeah.
in the early days.
Phil's not black though. He's Drake.
It doesn't count.
Yeah, he doesn't count. Ronnie only
Ronnie,
counts, but Ronnie was a freak.
Ronnie was the only person, as far as I'm concerned, in history who can gain muscle mass to such extreme extents and also get extreme leanness
Yeah.
and being the same person. Like no one can do that.
It is. It'd be interesting to see if it's. I think it might be a little bit to do with the training because I feel like that hard, dense training that Ronnie does. I don't know. I feel I've seen it. I feel like it makes a muscle difference. Like everyone that has high protein and trains higher intensity, I feel like have just harder granite muscle. I've
Ronnie must have suffered. Do you hear the interviews with Ronnie? Is like when he's contest prepping, he doesn't eat vegetables, no vegetables.
yeah,
He's just
no.
like, yeah, chicken, rice, potatoes,
Yeah,
steak.
most of his videos, he's at the pub. He's having like the cut up barbecue chicken and hot chips
Yeah,
with barbecue sauce. And I'm like,
yeah. And he was having to apparently he was having to like eat like into show like in terms of he's
yeah,
having to he wasn't
Yeah.
starving like he was having to eat
yeah.
force food in
Well,
like
Because
that's
he did the
crazy.
work in the off season.
yeah.
That's right.
But
That's
Plus,
what
plus he's
just
absolutely insanely
have you
freaky.
seen Samson's training? Samson's training is very like pumpy, high volume work.
I could imagine because I haven't seen Sam's train, but I also haven't seen him any clips of him lifting heavy weights,
Yeah,
which I would have seen if he was.
yeah. That's what I mean. All the training videos I watch from him and him that he posts and hostile posts are all very just pump work, minimal rest. I'm like, I think he's gonna have to shift his training a bit to do harder intensity to get that hard, mature muscle.
Yeah, I don't
How
know.
old
I
is
mean,
he? 37.
Yeah,
he's pretty.
that's the only thing. Him and Andrew Jack, their battle's going to be very not long. Like someone's going to come and take over some young kid because
Yeah.
they're getting old now. What Sean Roden though, he won the Olympia at 42.
Yeah.
So
The thing is, I don't think, yeah, some young kid's not quite there yet. I think Martin is great potential, but he's just not freaky enough for
yeah,
me.
he's not.
Like,
He's not.
he's just
Nah,
not freaky
He's
enough.
not.
He's just
not
too
yet.
young.
He's not.
Not yet.
Yeah, but I don't. I don't
No.
think his
No.
frame. I don't think his frame. I think his frame's going to limit him. I don't think he has the potential. I don't know if he has a lot of potential to put on a shitload of mass because I think he's going to compete a lot as well.
I don't think he's going to put on much more mass than he has now. I'm pretty sure he's pretty close to being that's his
Yeah. I
best.
think the next freak wave will be someone that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll come up and
Yeah.
just some guy will just come up and be like, "Who the fuck is this freak?" Like maybe like a I don't know, like a Carlos Thomas Jr. or someone that's just like come out of nationals or even about to do junior nationals this year in USA.
Yeah.
I
It's,
just
it's
hate that our nationals here, like we don't just develop the same people that come from America. Like
No.
whoever gets pro in our nationals, it's like whatever. Like America don't even care. But then like the people that go pro in their nationals, it's like, who the fuck's this freak?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just got such a small pool of people to pull from here that there's
No.
just there's not going to be as many people who are exposed to bodybuilding that are freaky enough just because of
No.
the
We need it.
crazy.
We need to get a pro show here. We need more exposure and more money for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's just not a pleasable. Like, let's face it, there's a million protein companies now. Nexus, like just like all these companies now, they're all aimed at like TikTokers and skinny people. Like there's no money in bodybuilding. We need some companies coming. We need to have a pro bodybuilding stage to get fans that, oh man, these freaks are like, I want to go see them. So then there is money for bodybuilders. Then they can sponsor the bodybuilders. So there's money for them. They can, because let's face it, you don't grow the same if you're working a full-time job. I've experienced it. My body just does not respond. As soon as I go back to work, I just don't feel the same. As soon as I get to sleep and relax and train, your body just responds so much better.
Yeah, but as you just said, the current, I guess, demographic or the current population in Australia, there's a lot of kids going to the gym. It's packed. Gyms are packed at the moment. But
Yeah.
all these kids, they want that TikTok or whatever,
Yeah.
that beach body. Like, no one really wants to be big. Everyone wants to have that aesthetic sort of look. Because I've seen some kids at the gym the past few weeks and months. I'm like, oh, he has good shape. He has good shape. But I know he's not going to be a bodybuilder. He's just
Yeah.
going to be that one of those guys that probably not competed at all. Just typically sort of this TikTok sort of dudes
That
and
that'll be
Instagram famous sort of dudes.
that'll be the IFBB's division next year, beach body.
Honestly,
It'll
I
happen.
wouldn't be surprised they brought
Yeah.
back the men's physique as a actual men's physique
Yeah.
had started.
It'll
You know,
probably be men's model.
yeah, oh, God, yeah,
But look. it'll create more money for pros because think about the registration money, all the how many people you could have another. It'll double the shows like competitors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it really will.
But like, man, the gym will be just. Could you imagine that? Oh my god, you go to the gym and it's just like everyone in the gym's getting ready for that same show season. Now you're like, oh my, I can't do this anymore. Everyone be like, all the prep stuff. I'm getting ready for a show, bro. I'm like, oh my god.
So at least, I mean, guys like yourself and Sabine and stuff, you probably get more respect though because everyone will see you and be like, oh, well, that's actually what a bodybuilder. Or that's what
Yeah,
that's how big impressive we can get. So I don't know. We'll see.
it's true. There's always pros and cons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
We'll leave it. Like I said, we've got things to do. But thanks for your time, Matt.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Good
All right.
seeing you guys.
No
Yeah,
worries. Take it easy, guys.
we'll see you soon.
Yeah.